This is not a nuking source video. This is me, a content creator, who's somewhat a fan of the content creator who I am going to react and criticize on his, via sources, reaction to the Nux Taku Nuke video. If you don't know what's going on, basically there's a VTuber named Nux Taku who has been accused of doing many bad and evil things. I've seen only 2 reactions to the nuke video, and if you don't know what a nuke video is, basically it's someone who made a video about a content creator doing very bad and evil stuff to the point where it can or will destroy their influence, clout, and or fame, just like a nuke destroys everything and leaves basically nothing afterwards. The first video about the nuke that I saw was Suris's, and, well, just watch with me. And just to clarify, I will be doing a lot of sort of memes and jokes and things of that nature. I'll try to obviously be serious because this is serious, but some things I might say hyperbolically and things of that nature. I usually don't do this, but I think it's very important because I am part VTuber, so, you know. Also, my name's JTF.
So apparently this is exposing Nux Taku's EPI empire? Unfamiliar, but let's see what's going on.
I'm Nicandros. This is Tectone, a guy who used to follow 900 hentai accounts on Twitter. When likes were still public, people found out that Tectone had liked an animation depicting a Genshin Impact character called Venti getting their back door blown wide open by a BB Hilichurl C. For context, Venti is an effeminate male character with the body of a 15-year-old boy, so Tectone has a history of it to gay porn involving 15-year-old boys. This is more speculative, but photographic evidence suggests that Tectone lives by the slogan, "He who beats it, eats it." In case you don't know what that means, now you might be disgusted by this, but given Tectone's physiology, that's actually a very impressive feat.
Is that all?
Me when I show her my penis, I'm 6'8". I don't know why I would lie about that. My penis isn't that small where I feel the need to lie about my height.
Oh, just for some people in the audience, there's gonna be cursing and some inappropriate language. Sorry, I keep forgetting to point that out. This is still a Christian channel, not gonna get into, if cursing's a sin or whatever, but the point is, there might be some, most likely Christians, or just those who, don't like cursing. I just want to say, hey, just to warn you, or, you don't like it, but you're fine with it, but you would like somebody to warn you. This is, a Christian channel. I don't think it's a family show. It's not a family show. It's a Christian show, but not a family show.
But I'm 6'8". I'm 6'8". I'm 6'8". Are you 6'8"? I'm 6'8". 6'7". I'm 6'6". I'm 6'7". I'm 6'7". 6'6" men BMI.
Man, I'm
now,
living
for
in a world of
reference,
hearing
I'm
6'7" too many times.
I've sometimes claimed to be 200 and sometimes 201 centimeters, but I've never claimed to be 2 whole inches taller. You might say that lying about 2 inches is not a big deal, but to some people, that's all they've got.
Thankfully, I have a very small cock.
Tectone was recently served a 10-year protective order to stay at least 200 yards away from his ex-girlfriend Pinkichu for sexually assaulting and stalking her. He's also been forced to give up all of his guns. Before this all came out, he also had some really deep thoughts.
The more you are aware of what's going on in the world, the more that you are aware of these people that are lying, the more that these people will try to discredit the people telling the truth. I mean, I want you to look at Nux Taku, for an example.
Now, I found out about Nux Taku around the time of his Shadman controversy, and because of some drama between Mutaha and someone called Shadlogic. It's a complicated story.
Nux Taku got his entire career temporarily destroyed, which he bounced back from because he's one of the GOATs. God bless you, Nux.
Yes, the post-Nux Clarity incident.
So this video that was uploaded with, again, Nux Taku as Jeffrey Epstein and
Me, as I assume Ghislaine Maxwell over here.
Since then, Nux Taku has re-established himself as one of many populistic right-wing commentators, such as Tectone himself, who tried to orbit Asmongold.
Is really like, I mean, this part right here, right? And then there's this. And then there's a little bit of that, too.
I was apparently recently hired as Asmongold's thumbnail editor.
Why wasn't Asmongold nominated at the Streamer Awards? And it's me holding up a fucking thing of I'm white, you're black, and I'm pointing a gun at somebody? Damn, bro, like, that's what it was. This is a top-tier thumbnail? I think it is. Honestly, like, we should have just used...
Of course you would think that's a top-tier thumbnail. I talked about Asmongold already.
This one. Oh my god. Hire this guy? Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Thumbnail editor. This is great. Yeah, why not?
My response was not the most charismatic one. He never actually intended to hire me. That was merely a stunt he did for his livestream. Given his recent defending of Tectone, it was probably for the best. As a Forbes magazine featured commentator, I can't be associating with people like this. However, this video isn't about Asmongold or Tectone. It's about the rumors circulating Nux Taku.
The amount of misinformation put out on this guy is insane. I mean, dude, I get told that Nux is a pedophile daily. And I'm like, brother, what the fuck are you talking about? Nux has always been good to me, and I'm a guy who's always gonna have the back of my friends. However, I will also be the first guy to hold my friends accountable.
We'll see about that. But why would anyone say that Nux Taku l***s after children? I have my own criticisms of the guy, but he's a very religious man.
We gotta stand up and fight for God. We were living in a world of, like, unbelievable hedonism that just kept ramping up higher and higher and higher, you know? Higher
and higher and higher and higher. I wonder why. I'm sorry, Nux Taku, your boy's in the Epstein files. Like, I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say? He's in the Epstein files. What do you want me to say?
Oh my fucking god, no, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment. I can't listen to Nux sit there and do this. Actually, society is hedonistic. Did you know that bad times make strong men make good times make weak men? Hedonism truly is the thing of our fucking hell. Anyway.
And higher, more and more hedonism and secularism, and it completely took over.
Oh, no, psychoism ain't the problem. It's not the problem, buddy.
And this is an unbelievable conversation.
Hedonism and secularism ruining the world. Yup, the ability for people of different religions to exist in a world with you without as many problems that is what's destroying society. Things that only...
It's destroying the West, ladies and gentlemen. Even though the West created secularism, but, you know.
Dumbasses would say. Jesus Christ.
That's being had right now.
He speaks out against hedonism and degeneracy.
It's not surprising that people that are based purely on hedonism, that they think you could fuck everything that moves, they think that sex should be publicized and taught to little babies and children, teaching them to change their genders and shit like that.
He's against sex being taught to young children and little babies. He hasn't always been open about his religious beliefs, but he has a long history of criticizing the Twitch platform for making adult content available to minors.
Twitch can't decide whether they want to be a 13-plus gaming website or an 18-plus porn website. Twitch wants to rake in all that advertiser bucks for being a 13-plus gaming website. They want to be on every single freaking smart television in America because that's how they get so many of their little young impressionable viewers. They are trying to be a 13-plus gaming website as well as a porn site at the same exact fucking time. Just recently, you had the implied nudity meta on Twitch where they allowed artistic nudity, which is, again, still mind-blowing to me that they even thought this was a good idea on a 13-plus gaming website, by the way.
Making adult content available to children is totally inappropriate, and Nux Taku has known this for a while.
Hentai ain't for kids under 18, let alone under 13.
Some insist that it is solely the parents' responsibility to stop their children from seeing that stuff. End of story. I think that's a very dumb perspective, so I'm going to back...
So I'm going to give my perspective. It's a mixture of both. The parents should be responsible, but also Twitch should be responsible as well, obviously. It's not a one-way thing, it's a two-way thing at the end of the day.
Up Nux Taku on this one. Parents do have the primary responsibility to protect their children, but that responsibility isn't on them alone. If you're publishing content on a 13+ website, the creators, the parents, and the platform have a shared responsibility to protect the children using that site from being exposed to harmful content. In the case of Twitch, the creators are knowingly streaming inappropriate content, and Twitch isn't cracking down on it. As Nux Taku clearly understands, it is supposed
And they have a terrorist sympathizer, some Piker.
to be a 13+ platform. If you're allowing
And of course, Asmongold.
or uploading adult content onto that platform, you're clearly doing something wrong and should be held responsible if kids come across that content. Parents
To be clear, that the little joke for Asmongold is like, they're both bad, you know, they both should be banned in a sense, but, I'm not joking about Hassan Piker being a terrorist sympathizer. I mean, he is. I mean, what do you want me to say? He's a terrorist sympathizer. What do you want me to say?
can easily block actual adult websites, and some even teach you how to do it. But when adult content is hidden on a 13+ website, the parents might not even suspect it to be there. Take for example, Nutahar's aunt.
Here's the fucking wildest thing about her, okay? So she has every fucking parental filter. If you walk into her house, it's like fucking North Korea. However, she hasn't done anything for YouTube. She hasn't looked at parental controls. So in her mind, she's like, I'm a good parent. I'm making sure they don't watch porn. And then their kids are watching like Andrew Tate and shit. So she's blocked this one possibly dangerous avenue of like, you know, psych infiltrating shit. But she hasn't locked the other one out.
Instead of telling his aunt to set up parental controls on YouTube, Mutahar decided to shit-talk her parenting on his massive podcast. Very normal behavior. So when adult content is on an adult website, it's easily blocked. When it's on Twitch or YouTube, it can go unnoticed and in the worst cases, subvert those parental controls. That's why it's important for creators on these platforms to keep in mind that their content is going to be available to and be seen by children. As an example, you shouldn't have a hentai reviewer on your podcast and then shout them out by pitching their content as a method to circumvent parental controls.
Ladies and gentlemen, please check out our friend Hartweigen, friend of the show, absolutely amazing creator. If you're into hentai and you want to, and you got parental filters all over your web browser, this is the channel for you because YouTube is not blocked by parental filters. So wink wink on that one.
Before you run off calling Mutahar some early porn introduction mogul, this is just a single, irresponsible one-off comment from years ago. It was a dumb thing to say, but there is no broad pattern of Mutahar engaging in this behavior. To return to Nux's critique of Twitch, another problem with adult content being on a 13+ website is its potential to funnel children to adult websites and services.
Every single freaking ASMR streamer on Twitch is linking their OnlyFans because ultimately Twitch is a massive funnel to that stuff, and Twitch knows that. Most of Twitch these days is a literal funnel to OnlyFans. Remember, this is a 13+ gaming website where 90% of just chatting streams are boobs, funneling people to the OnlyFans of the streamers because it's not like there's
what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. Boobs? Funneling people to... I mean, I don't run the OnlyFans, though. Like, that's not mine. That's my girlfriend's. Anyway.
any discoverability on OnlyFans. And the recommended page and every thumbnail on the just chatting category would be banned on YouTube. Bro, do you see what's going on your website, bro? This shit would be banned on YouTube immediately.
I'm not too sure about that last bit, but if a creator's content is directing children to adult websites, making it more available and accessible to them, they are more likely to not only seek out that content, but also far more extreme content than they otherwise would have. Nux Taku, on the other hand, has been criticizing Twitch for allowing this content since the creation of the hot tubs category.
The new Twitch meta, ladies and gentlemen, she doesn't need to see it for her browser history. If you look up PONR, her stream is PONR. Bruh.
It's just so noisy.
Bruh. It's unbelievable that this content is allowed.
In February 2021, he released a whole song about it.
I'm just curious, how does one get popular by being a prude?
Oh boy, this was one of the moments. I'm like, Suris, I think you're missing the point here. Suris, I think you're missing the point. The point is not being prudish or a puritan. It's like, hey, this is mainly for 13-year-olds. Why are we having basically almost nudity in it? Like, Suris, what were you doing? What were you doing?
And just out of curiosity, how does one gain massive popularity when the best words you could describe them with are, hey, you look like a stick that frequently finds itself in mud? I just don't understand how that becomes something that, like, people not only get known for, but people get popular over. Like, when I was a kid, that was the kind of thing that, like, when you saw an adult being like that, you just kind of, like, walked away and said, no, I can't, you're clutching your fucking pearls. You're clutching your fucking pearls, and I can't. I'm not here listening to you clutching your fucking pearls.
I mean, like, if you just keep talking about it over and over again, then yeah, I would be like, okay, there might be something there, but, like, I don't know. In this situation, even though, as we will see later on in this video, Nux Taku is a total hypocrite. He is like, yeah, that's bad, sirs. That's bad.
And that's all that is. It's just pearl clutching again.
I made a music video parody of Billie Eilish's Bad Guy. When the Twitch hot tub meta was going on, all the top streamers were female streamers in hot tubs wearing nothing. And I made a music video parody, Twitch is hentai. Twitch is hentai. Twitch thoughts giving teens bloody no sleep.
Damn, a great message and a banger tune. There is just one big problem I have with Nux's critique here. He left out the most dangerous element of this kind of content. Any child can see bikini ladies on the beach or at the pool, but they're not going to see bikini ladies doing erotic dances while surrounded by adult strangers who are touching themselves while chatting with them. They are also not going to receive private messages or invitations to join a private group chat where a much older person showers them with attention and makes them feel special. Creators don't just put out content, they have a community, whether it's in their comments or on other platforms. If the creator's content is explicit in nature, then so will their community. If children are allowed into these spaces, the creator is facilitating a space where adults and minors are talking about explicit matters with each other. Even if there are no predators in those spaces, if minors are allowed access, they are still being normalized to the idea that it's okay for them to be talking about these things with random adults, making them much more vulnerable. Nux Taku has actually made videos in the past catfishing predators on Discord, but his activism doesn't end there. In 2021, he tried to trick Shadman, the infamous lolicon artist, into a confrontation to grill them for drawing LOLI comics. Wanna collab? Lamau, no, but your heart's in the right place. Wait, why would Shadman say that? Anyway, these statements and instances where Nux Taku actually mocked messages he received from Shadman have been misconstrued by bad faith actors to claim that Nux Taku had some connection with Shadman or a desire to work with him. I mean, look at the timeline. We're supposed to believe that 3 days after catfishing predators, Nux Taku was trying to get on Shadman's good side. It is such easily debunkable nonsense. This whole controversy was just an offshoot of the early Mr. Beast drama, when Ava Chris Tyson's fandom of Shadman was exposed. Nux Taku was among the people calling her out on it, but also for running a Discord server where NSFW content was available to minors. Despite his consistent, long-term opposition to children being exposed to adult content, and criticism of multiple creators who have blurred the line between adults and children, Nux Taku continues to be smeared as some kind of because of his old videos.
My videos were showing people weird shit that came out of Japan to get funny reactions. And I, to this day, do not think that they were harmful videos. I don't.
It really isn't necessary, but let's take a look at one of those examples. If we go to May of 2021, a couple months after releasing the song about Twitch, and a few months before the Shadman collab request, he released this video. It's about Nux Taku reviewing the old comics made by the author of the Nagatoro manga. It's a...
Here's content warning, somewhat of CP, things of that nature. Basically, Epstein file type stuff, basically. So if you don't want any of that, I understand. Wait till the video after the next one from me, alright?
Romantic comedy about the titular Nagatoro, a high school junior. I know a little trick for looking up the old thumbnails of videos on the Internet Archive, and the thumbnail of this video used to look like this. Nagatoro taking off her panties. This isn't the second version. This is the third version. Here is the second version. Nagatoro completely naked, and there's some kind of a chimpanzee behind her.
But she's sitting here in the forest, and all of a sudden Monkey comes out and starts.
That's a lot of monkey hands. Jesus Christ.
God damn it. And then they proceed to... Okay, anyway. She ends up having an epiphany that in order to survive, she must drink fluids. So she proceeds to drink fluids. That's why she's like, go as much as you want, because
you can dish out there. Okay.
Yeah, she needs to drink it to survive. This is survival instincts. Boom! They were in fact not in the forest. She was in fact with the monkeys in a zoo in front of a whole bunch of people. Out of people? No, an audience? Is this a zoo? They saw all of it? The mating act? This is so cursed. This is the worst image in the history of
why would the monkey bring it up? That's so weird.
So she pushes the shock collar that she happens to be wearing.
Oh, they put her on a shock? What the fuck?
To force her to do the friendship show.
So she's a slave.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. And then she has to dance like Monkey.
Nux Taku is displaying a comic to his
Goodness. That was the groanings. Like, oh boy, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this. Oh boy.
Audience about a little girl being raped by a pack of monkeys in a zoo exhibit before a crowd of children. The censorship is at times very loud.
Curtis says, why does this anime VTuber sound like Aiden Ross? That's... Man, if I was ever told that I sounded like somebody like that, I feel like I'd be depressed. I think I'd get secondhand depression. I think I would.
There's lots of fluids and even monkey cocks visible on screen. Not only did Nux Taku show that, he's displaying multiple adult websites and shows the names of all the comics, making it easy for the audience members to look them up for themselves.
Lolicon, oh, it hurts so bad.
What? It's got 69.
There's 69,000 Lolicon manga.
69.
And I just want to make things abundantly clear my views on Lolicon. It is animated child pornography.
9,000, no big deal, right?
This is far worse than anything I've seen on Twitch. How is this sponsored by Raycon? Wasn't Nux Taku supposed to confront Shadman for this stuff? I thought he was against hedonism and degeneracy. The video was also not age-restricted, meaning that he made it visible to his own crowd of children. And the comment section had many children on it. Some of them were asking for Nux Taku to reduce the censorship, and others were asking for the source of these adult comics. When I say children, I'm not just making a blind guess. Many of these children had videos of themselves on their channel. So while Nux Taku was railing against Twitch for letting children see bikini ladies, he was uploading content like this, with thumbnails like this, to a 13+ website.
Which is, again, still mind-blowing to me that they even thought this was a good idea on a 13+ gaming website, by the way.
And nowadays he presents himself as this fighter for God and this opponent of degeneracy and hedonism. This video isn't publicly available anymore, because I tweeted a link to it around the time of the post-Nux Clarity incident. It used to embed on the tweet, but now it no longer does, because within 30 minutes of me tweeting it, the video was set to private. There was no apology or explanation, only an attempt to hide evidence of one's past, which in itself became evidence of a guilty mind. I have never seen anyone post the kind of content Nux Taku did on a regular basis and not get banned. Not only hasn't he been banned, until recently, he was hanging out with massive, well-respected creators. He might be one of the most underlooked and worst cases of such a high-profile creator, profiting from exposing children to adult content, directing them to adult websites, and running their communities with a total disregard for child safety. Nowadays, he pretends that none of this ever happened. He downplays it, lies about it, and deletes evidence of it. Let's start from the beginning. Nux Taku started out as an anime YouTuber in 2015. He grew slowly and steadily, but in late 2019, everything changed. Jeffrey Epstein died in prison. Excuse me, 2 weeks after that.
I also made a video on YouTube that has since been removed, the biggest flexes in hentai. And the degeneracy began from there.
In the video, Nux Taku reviews and recommends 10 hentai animations, 7 of which were categorized as LOLI, meaning they contained underage characters.
And this bad boy, very not chill stepfather, has a very not chill relationship with stepdaughter. Again, most people would think this is weird, but hentai clearly knows better.
Okay, so I feel like what's basically happening here is none of this would be the biggest problem in the world if he hadn't have tried to have made himself this, like, poster child for perfection.
No, Suris, no. There are so many. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Suris, if you're watching or any of your Suris fans, I want to repeat myself. This is not a nuke. I'm not trying to nuke you. I'm not trying to expose or whatever. No, this is just some of a fan who's also a content creator reacting to your reaction of so that's pretty bad. It's like, yeah, no, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. His audience, which is young, LOLI hentai, things of that nature. All those things are bad, Suris. He's still a bad dude, even if he wasn't a hypocrite. Like, still bad, Suris. Still bad.
Like, this kind of thing only comes to bite you in the ass if you're being a fucking hypocrite about it when you're in Nux's industry. So watching criticism about Nux Taku would be great. A great thing to ignore. Nux, Sammy, thank you.
He was already showing adult content to a 13+ audience, and giving them advice on how to find adult content online.
The reason why I bring it up here is because without putting text on the screen is nearly impossible to remember. Therefore, since the plot, and it's a goddamn plot, deep thematic and philosophical undertones here, I believe anyone who wanted to search this bad boy up without said title, because I was a douche for not putting it on screen, would just simply look up time stop hentai. Far easier than... Very understandable. A lot of y'all sent me screenshots on Twitter, link to my Twitter in the description, of the top recommended searches on the hub of prawn. And lo and behold, much to my surprise, WTF fanbase, one of the top hits is Time Stop Hentai. And it stayed like that for 3 goddamn days immediately after me uploading my biggest flexes in hentai video. Now that is the biggest flex in hentai.
At the time, these videos earned him a massive amount of attention. The first video got 500,000 views, and its many sequels were even more successful, with the whole series garnering a total of 5 million views. One of them was even sponsored by an adult game platform. Because these videos were far more TOS risky than his usual content, Nux Taku would soon delete them after uploading to avoid moderation consequences.
The greatest plots in hentai too! Yes, this video will be deleted soon after uploading for the sake of my channel's survival, but a promise is a promise, so yippee, here we go! 50,000 likes and the greatest plots in hentai 3 will be out eventually.
In reality, he didn't actually delete them. He set them to private, and at a later date, he set them to unlisted, meaning that anyone with a link could see them. I actually managed to find these videos quite some time ago. I archived them, and Nux Taku can tell you the rest. Only one of them remains unlisted. Go check it out. If it has gone private, it confirms that Nux Taku knows about this video. After the success of this hentai video series, it soon became the core focus of Nux's content for years to come. By December 2019, he reached 1 million subscribers. In 2020, he was collaborating with some of the biggest creators on the platform and filming their reactions to adult animations or comics, often involving characters of a questionable age.
there is an asshole door. So it's a woman with her ass out, and this one's like an anal key. And Ash Ketchum is well, at least a young Ash Ketchum seems to be approaching it.
Oh no.
And he uses what's called the fist dash, it seems, to gain entry.
Oh, wow.
Is this made for you? Yeah, I think it's gone now. So now he sprayed her with the spray of doom.
Oh no. She's quivering!
Oh my god! What? I didn't
Okay, so is it just that he watches hentai? Is that all?
No, Suris, no. It's LOLI hentai. That's bad, Suris. What? What? Like the guy said. What? I don't respectfully, Suris. I don't know why you don't think you think lollicon's not bad, Suris. But all right.
It is. Is that really all we're doing? Nux watches hentai. The hentai sometimes has characters.
Sometimes. No, I don't think sometimes, Suris. I think it's what, 7 out of 10 times, Suris. I think it's the majority, Suris.
That have weird ages, but anime in general already has that.
That's not that doesn't help. That doesn't help the situation, Suris. That doesn't change anything, Suris. It's still bad.
Please tell me there's more in this video than that, because that's fucking nothing.
Nothing. Again, young audience, target to young audience. Pornographic and basically child pornography. Animated child pornography. I think that's pretty good, Suris. That's pretty that's oh boy.
That's only an issue for him if he's selling himself as a fucking idiot that is a prude.
No, Suris, it's still bad. So bad if he wasn't a hypocrite, Suris.
Where you, like, try to sell yourself as this perfect angel that would never do any of that shit. Said he's a groomer? Okay, so there's other stuff here besides the hentai shit. I don't care about the hentai shit. I don't give a fuck.
As you can see, talking about, exhibiting, and directing people to adult media was a core part of Nux's content and the community around it. Now, YouTube is again a 13+ website, just like Twitch. So, Nux Taku was making this content available to minors. But did it appeal to them? You've seen enough of his presentation to know that his audience was hardly above the age of 18. If you're putting on this kind of PewDiePie voice, you're not looking for an adult audience. Given his previous focus on anime, Nux Taku's audience would already trend towards being pretty.
Are we... That's not a fucking argument. Okay.
Oh gosh. Oh, well, let's hear him out.
So, like, I don't like Nux. I think Nux is a piece of shit. I do. I really do. But you put on a voice that means that you're trying to talk to kids. That's not a fucking argument. That's a...
No, it depends on the voice, because most of the time, for adults who are doing adult content, they don't have this type of voice, guys, and it's all like that, you know? Like, it's not most of the time, most adult content that has their normal voices to differentiate. Not all the time. Sometimes their voices are that high-pitched, so not dissing adults who have high-pitched voices, but it's like, again, given the content that Nux Taku does, given how he edits, if I'm correct, most younger audiences are more with the faster editing, things of that nature, more older audiences are not, but that's not necessarily always the case. Obviously, a lot of adult content creators have that similar type of fast editing and things of that nature, but point is, there's just so much evidence to show, yeah, he's targeting kids. His target audience are kids. either early or late teens. Like I think that's you have enough, Suris. Is that an argument? It's more of an accusation, but yeah, because again, like I think he does the voice because he knows his audience, which are children, not adults. So yes, Suris, it is an argument, if you will.
Stupid goddamn argument. And I feel like I've been made stupider for listening to it.
How? Continue.
Please, okay, y'all have told me that there is more in here than that, but I'm gonna be honest. When I'm listening to an expose on a person I already don't like, I am already biased against this person, and when your argument is so bad that I am coming to bat for the person who I don't want to fucking come to bat for, no.
No, sir. Respectfully, I think at the end of the day, I think this was just a miss. I think for some weird reason, Suris basically did not get the problems, or he thinks they're not problems at this point. Later on, he does be like, oh, yeah, he is bad. He's definitely bad, if not evil in a sense. But it's like, I think respectfully, it looks a little bit bad for you. Again, more of a critique, not a nuke or a moral failure, but more just of a critique of you, I guess, not understanding. And yes, my eyes keep twitching because I'm so angry. No, it's because for some weird reason it's just like that. If you want to not see that, I am trying. The lighting's just what it is. Financially support me on PayPal or Patreon. Links are in the description down below. That'll be nice. But the main problem I have with this video, as you'll definitely see later on in this video with Source's reaction, is that it seems like he doesn't see the little red flags before the big bad part. And I think he does criticize that in a way that I think is very interesting. I think there's mainly two ways to see it, but we'll get into that later on in this video. But I think it does look a little bit bad that the fact it's like you're kind of did you say defending? I don't think he said defending, but basically it's like to the point where it's like nothing's really bad here to a person who he doesn't like. It's like, I don't think it's bad because of the person doing the nuke video. I think it's respectfully, you're missing the little red flags that turn into a big red flag later on. You're missing the behavior that led to the big bombshell, the big nuke part, basically.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Please get to something of substance.
I think we had, but again, I think he misses it for some reason.
We're 27 minutes in. His voice is not what you would use if you're trying to appeal to adults.
Not just that, but also his audience, because of his audience, how he does his thumbnails, things of that nature, his content, which shouldn't be for children, but are for children because of his audience. And this is just another red flag to show, hey, he's targeting kids. It's not in a good way. It's not just his audience, it's... we'll get into it later on. In a meme sense of a way, he's in the Epstein files. He's not... I don't think he is, but it's like, he might as well be Nux Taku. Which I think Source would agree, again, later on in this video.
Is not a goddamn argument.
Young, but it wasn't young enough. He would imitate the thumbnail style of channels like Game Theory, which is very popular with children, and make lots of other content.
Game Theory is also popular with adults. Fucking...
That's true, it is popular for adults, but again, audience. And I won't be surprised that most of Game Theory's audience is mainly of children, with some adults, but mainly of children. Like, Source, no, please stop.
jump to the Discord part of it. The problem, though, is that the fucking preamble here doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why would this be your opening argument? Why would this be what you spend 30 minutes doing? None of the
sneak peek is because there's two ways you can handle this. And one of the ways is showing the little red flags, which should be like little red flag behavior, which should cause some red flags, because, as we'll see later on, he did something very, very bad. And basically, what's his name? I keep forgetting. The Nuke video was trying to show that, hey, he didn't just do this, he had sort of a behavior of doing something similar to the very bad stuff. But there are little bad stuff. A little leaven leavens the whole lump.
These arguments matter. None of this shit matters.
And trying to attract MatPat's attention. He eventually succeeded and collaborated with not just MatPat, but also PewDiePie and Markiplier. Except he didn't. These are just misleading clickbait thumbnails. However, if you were a fan of one of these massive channels with very young audiences, and you were tricked into clicking on one of these videos, your recommendations would fill up with stuff like this. This combo of factors that would drive this content to a young audience would not be complete without Nux Taku's favorite rule, that being Rule 34.
And if you're not familiar with the term Rule 34, it's a term and website talking about how if anything exists, there is porn of it.
Nux Taku being obsessed with it is a meme by itself. He was making videos about Pokemon, anime, and other children's IPs while using Rule 34 of them as clickbait, or as the subject of the entire video. The most popular video on his second channel was a reaction to a viral Animal Crossing adult animation with very minimal censorship. There are small blurs around the genital areas, but you could still...
Are you talking about the fucking... The only adult animation I know of specifically from Animal Crossing that got popular is the Anka dance animation. And again, if he showed the Anka dance animation is our bar, then our bar needs to be recalibrated.
I think the dance is mainly not sexual, but it has, I guess, became sexual. I think this is mainly, it depends of what you think of sexual, like, dance or dance that can be suggestive to sexual, like, dances. From what I know of the dance, it isn't inherently sexual, but it could be, and again, based on the behaviors that we've seen of him, it's like, if it's even something that's suggestive of anything sexual, again, to his audience of children, then that's bad. And I think Suris is not connecting the dots, which I think is just the main thing. Suris is not connecting the dots here, unfortunately.
Our bar can be fixed. Our bar is fucking broken.
Still make out what's going on.
Yeah, it's the fucking animation for the Anka dance. God, I don't know how many times I have to keep clarifying. I don't fucking like Nux. I don't. I want that guy not making fucking content on these platforms. But how in the balls is that your thing? Yeah, I have an Anka dance short. Access says my boyfriend's boyfriend at one point had tried to say that animation was pedo. Yeah, and your boyfriend's boyfriend's a fucking moron.
That I would agree. You know, this is finally we do agree on something, Suris. It took 29 minutes and 14 seconds. That's a little bit of a joke, but you know, this is the part where I'm like, okay, he's coming back. He's getting back to the good stuff. All right.
Animated character was on screen doing a porn thing. Also, water is wet. Also, humanity has been drawing porn.
And also, that's bad, Suris. Because if you have an audience of children, that's bad.
For ages, I don't give a flying shit. The furry character that pays a fucking mortgage in Animal Crossing is pedo shit. Of course, absolutely. Yup, that's where we're at. Dorito Dave, I don't give a shit. Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna demod you. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the thing, because nothing in here is an argument. Nothing in here makes any sense. Nothing in here matters. What's the next section?
Labeled them as PG-13. This disclaimer can even be found on the Monkey comic video. That is an explicit admission that Nux Taku was fine with 13-year-olds seeing this stuff, but we can do better. Months before the Monkey comic video and the Animal Crossing video, Nux Taku saw one of his child fans with his own eyes. On October 31st of 2020, he requested his audience to email him the most cursed NSFW videos or memes for a chance to win $1,000. No limit on how horrible it is. Despite requesting NSFW content, the announcement does not list a minimum age, so Nux Taku was giving a financial incentive to minors to find the worst NSFW content they could.
Okay, it's not a thing.
Oh no. So this is when I was basically almost screaming to do my screen, like, no, sirs, no. Oh gosh, oh boy, yeah, you have to suffer with me, folks.
For minors, if it is a contest for everybody.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, alright, okay. What's NSFW? Sir, respectfully, sir, what's NSFW? What was that? It's not safe for work. That's usually of adult stuff. Most adults do the NSFW stuff. It's not safe for work. Work usually is for adults, except if you're Republican and from the deep south and want children to work for some weird reason. You're very fixated on that. You also want to marry them for some weird reason. But that's another thing. That's neither here nor there. In a sense, they're kind of similar. But point is, not really gonna talk that much into that. But somebody from the deep south, yeah, it's kind of weird, kind of creepy. Point is, if you know your audience and you're doing NSFW and there's no age, it's like it at best it is respectfully in a sensible way, not in a you're stupid way, but just in general, like, ignorance. It's in the tip of my tongue. It's a different type of word, not neglect, negligence. I think negligence. At best, this is negligence. At worst, it's like, again, we have the history of many red flag behaviors, and it's kind of getting a little bit worse. And again, he knows his audience, which are children. SFW is not for children. Suris, this is not your best. Respectfully, like, what are you doing? No, stop! Don't do this.
If you're talking about porn and you're doing a contest, that does not mean that you are trying to specifically get... That would be like if I said to my audience right now...
Which, by the way, is mainly of adults.
Hey guys, we're gonna do a contest where you draw my character in the lewdest way possible. I am not saying for kids to fucking do that.
Yeah, because most of your audience is of adults. You know, including me. So, yeah, your audience matters, Suris. Like, respectfully, I think you would know that. Nux Taku, his audience is mainly, if not primarily, if not only, made of children. Him doing an NSFW with his audience of children, no age requirement, that's bad. Like, again, it's just, it's a little bit weird that you do not see the dots here. You don't. Anyways.
And if they were to try to set anything up in the Discord server, they would immediately be kicked out if they tried to get into the NSFW section anyway. Because that shit's not for minors. This is just purity culture shit. This is stupid ass.
No. As somebody who talks a lot on Facebook and on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, about false purity culture, or what I call perversion culture. No, this is just basic, oh yeah, his audience is made of kids. It's kind of weird and creepy that he would do an NSFW context. Because the contest is not for children, but yet his audience is for children, therefore he's doing something nefarious and bad to children. This is definitely not the bad analogies of sex, bad for women, but for men, we'll give them a slap in the wrist. But for women, you're unvaluable if you ever have sex before marriage. That's perversion, / false purity, / quote-unquote purity culture, not basic observation of a content creator. Again, Suris is just not his best. This is not his best. Is it his worst? I don't know. Comment down below if you think so.
Purity culture shit. There's so many ways to go after this douchebag. There are so many ways to take him down. There are so many ways to do this. Why is this what you're doing? How is this what you're going with? This is fucking nothing.
After a day, he'd already received thousands of submissions. He would review these submissions a month later in a video with Oompaville and Iron Mouse.
I've never even pondered the thought that we can have LOLI and Guro and bondage all in one thing. That's a
Oh boy, isn't that a bad thing, Suris? I don't know if you'll think so, even though his audience is mainly of children. Nux Taku's is
amazing.
Oh my god.
Among those submissions was a video that one of Nux Taku's child fans had recorded of themselves.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that one is fucking gross. That's
again, this is the point where I'm like, oh, you're finally getting it, Suris? You're finally getting it? Just keep watching, folks.
That's the kind of shit that you should be on a fucking list for. There we go. But that is an argument. There we go. That is something. You need to vet this shit before you go into it. You do not blindly look. You do not do that shit. And if you find that one of your fans has done something like that, you do everything in your power to figure out how to contact their fucking parents to let them know what kind of dumb shit they're doing on the internet. That's the responsible thing to do. But okay. 37 minutes of preamble in, we found something.
Bro.
I don't even know what that was.
That was some kid just sent you a video of them shitting and then shooting a dog with a Nerf gun.
It would be really funny not to provide the full context.
Oh, what?
Bro. If you're scared of getting sued, this ain't the move.
That was some kid just sent you a video of them shitting and then shooting a dog with a Nerf gun.
Wait, what the fuck?
But I'll do so anyway. It's not CSAM. It's
Okay.
some little boy farting into their phone camera. Then they shoot at their...
Okay, that's...
Oh no. Again, I'm like, oh no. This is gonna be a roller coaster of, oh no, sirs, don't do it, and oh, finally you get it, and oh no, oh boy, get ready for the roller coaster, guys. We're in for a bumpy ride. Oh gosh.
Then why did you...
Because it's still inappropriate. A minor doing something stupid to a content and giving it and sending it to their content creator, who by this time we know has some very sketchy, negligent stuff and stuff that's kind of bad, lolicon, all that stuff, all those red flags. It's like, okay, this is not good, and like basically in any type of circumstance, this should not be. I don't know, even if it's a weird kid doing something kind of in this way stupid, it's like, I don't know. No, the parasocial relationship has gone to a point where it ain't good. This is still not good service. What? Oh gosh.
So if it's not that, if it's not the thing that matters and is bad, then...
It is still bad because of what we know of Nux Taku. And just in general, like, no, in any way, shape, or form, this is not really acceptable at all. Like, Goodness. Suris, no. No.
Then why are we... Huh? Okay.
Because it's still bad.
A dog with a Nerf gun. There's no nudity, and you can't even see their face. However, they are clearly a child, and based on the size of their hand, a very young one at that. There's also no sign of Nux Taku getting parental consent to publish this video.
That as well, exactly as well. Very bad. This is not good. Goodness.
So he's published a video of someone's child without consent and mixed it in with a bunch of reactions to LOLI Bondage Guru comics.
Exactly. The little red flags is not, for some people like me, lolicon is a big red flag. Like, this reaction from this guy says it all.
Oh my god.
Exactly. Besides saying the Lord's name in vain, obviously not. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I won't even be in that at all. Like, I won't even be with that at all. Like, I won't even be near something like that at all. You know, unless it's like very negative, very this is bad and evil, whatever. But even then, I'm like, nah, I gotta watch myself. I gotta watch my soul and spirit, you know, as a Christian.
This competition was not a one-time thing. It was a whole series, and the total number of emails they received in the end was around 10,000.
Yep, and if you have all that, I say especially to the other reaction people, like, what are you doing? And second, again, to Nux Taku, I don't know, but maybe, touch some grass, maybe possibly get some help, go to church, get Jesus. Jesus Christ, mighty name, amen.
Whether he intends it or not, by showing this video, Nux Taku is signaling to the children in his audience that they are welcome to participate. In the rest of the series,
exactly.
Nux Taku shows lots of adult websites and links to them fully uncensored. Not only that, there are many instances in these videos where Nux Taku fails to hide the names of the people sending these emails. So he has solicited children to send him porn, and now he's doxing them to his audience. But that's besides the point here. Nux Taku absolutely knew that children were not only watching, but engaging with his content and his community. Did that cause him to reconsider his content decisions? No. A couple months later, he released a Twitch song, then the Monkey Comic video, and then the Animal Crossing video. Not only did he not change, he began criticizing Twitch for exposing minors to adult content, despite exposing minors to far worse things. So there's a rough outline of the mass child mind poisoning machine that Nux Taku operated and made a ton of money from. We have already seen some of the community interactions in the comments of his videos, but that's only scratching the surface. Let's go back to 2019.
So, the announcement portion of this video is as follows. My favorite of PewDiePie's videos are his LOLI videos, where he gets to see how his community memes around his own content. I personally love that style video. How the community itself can come together, because it's not just the YouTuber or the YouTuber's content that's enjoyable, but it's the idea of this little community forming. So, I am creating a Nux Taku subreddit, which will not be called Nux Taku because someone already made r/.
In another effort to imitate PewDiePie, in 2019, Nux Taku founded his own subreddit, r/Nux Taku Submissions.
Okay.
Nowadays, it's a hentai dumping ground, but back then, it was full of memes about anime and children's cartoons.
Hey, stop touching weird places. Don't worry about it. It's flat anyway. Destruction 100. Ho ho ho. Huge roast there. That's like the ultimate hentai logic as well.
But this is Nux Taku we're talking
That's bad.
about. So there were also posts about hentai. For several years, the Reddit had no moderation other than Nux Taku. And on one occasion in 2020, the Reddit was spammed full of hentai.
There were thousands, nay, tens of thousands of posts of Sakura hentai.
The Reddit was also not marked as 18+, and there was no minimum age listed in the rules.
Forgive me, Lord, but I did it. Please forgive me. Stop sending gentai. Why? I already lost No Nut November. Half of my class saw Aqua's butthole on my screen. To be fair, mad respect for sending Aqua's butthole. And your class should be thankful.
Dude, Aqua's... Okay.
Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Do we have to point out that Aqua's an adult? Do we have to
point out that the text clearly half of my class? Usually, if somebody is saying something like this, that usually means that they are in, how do we say this, not college, maybe not even high school, maybe middle school, you know, children, still kids, Suris, yeah, that is bad, Suris, that is bad. If somebody texts you this, you know, if especially if you don't really know who they are, it's like, yeah, they might be a minor, and though this is creepy and bad and evil. He wouldn't say demonic and satanic. I would in a sense, but neither here nor there. And yes, I will one day have to make a video about what is actually satanic and demonic, because rainbows are not that. I'm sorry, they're not that, no. Like, Suris, no. No!
do that? Do I have to begin by saying, hey?
Yeah, and, how I say this, minors shouldn't be watching hentai or anything like that. I guess that's a hot take of the, I guess so. I don't care. What? I don't think that's a hot take, but whatever.
People who may or may not have watched Konosuba, Aqua's a fucking moron. It is her entire character. By the way, she's also an adult.
What does that have to do with the fact of most likely this minor here, again based on Nux Taku's audience, is sharing something very inappropriate that he shouldn't be watching, other half of his class should be watching, and Nux Taku's like, I did you a service. That's disgusting, Suris. That's bad, Suris. Goodness.
Okay, I'm moving on to the Discord shit. I need there to be something. We are 40 minutes into your video, 40 minutes into my video. There has to be something here. Yeah, so far this is just, he's a super edgy boy and he's irresponsible. Yeah, all that's true.
Oh, wow, yes, it's just he's super edgy, guys. Super edgy, super irresponsible, guys. Oh boy, who hasn't? No, it's much worse than that, Suris, but again, he just failed to connect the dots. That's all this is at the end of the day.
True. And, like,
I would never do it because the degeneracy would be too much, and the degeneracy is already too much. So join that Discord server. It's a public server. It's open. 16 or older, though, please?
I am happy that he has a minimum age rule this time, but setting it to 16 is a massive self-report that he is aware that a large chunk of his audience is underage.
Okay.
Oh gosh, this is when it's like, okay. I think respectfully, I think he said this himself, and as somebody who's actually autistic, I can say this. I think Source might be a little bit autistic here. Not the weird, pathetic internet, you're autistic, no, I mean, I think he actually is, because I think he's over-analyzing to the point where it's not needed. You'll see why.
Where does Nux Taku live? Because, depending on where he lives, he may be setting it to what the legal age of consent is where he lives.
Okay. Here's the thing. Here's the problem. Generally speaking, most people in the world recognize 18 as an adult. Though most people who are older than that are saying that they're still kids in a sense. But basically, we have kind of agreed that 18 is basically adulthood in a sense. Now, there are some countries where the age of consent is 16 or 15 or even lower, which is kind of concerning, and pray that they all turn up to 18, Jesus Christ mighty name, amen, because I think that seems to be the best, the best type of, okay, this is when you're adult. line that we have. If you're doing the bare bottom of the age of consent is at 16, there's something wrong with you, and you should not be near children. Because for those who maybe argue the age of consent, or they're like, what's the youngest I can go to get married and do things to in the bedroom? They're like, well, she was 17 and a half till her 18th birthday. Like, as counterpoints would say, if you're going that there's something just wrong with you. Get help and get Jesus. Jesus Christ, my name, amen. It doesn't matter if Nux Taku's age of consent. Bare bottom is 16. That's a red flag, Suris. That will always be a red flag. 16 is still basically a minor. Even at the age of consent, the bare bottom of age of consent is 16. That's still bad because of his audience and because of what he has done. Like, no, Suris, no, don't do this. He might not be able to help it, literally. Like, I'm not even joking. He might not actually be able to handle it to actually not be able to actually stop it in a sense. I know that's the wrong wording, but you get what I mean.
Like, and I'm not trying to say, like, where does he live? Please give me the fucking dogs. But again, if we're gonna do this thing, if we are gonna do this thing where we are going after him, and that is fair. I don't like Nux. I'd like him to not be making fucking content. So didn't he move to Israel or something? Okay. Okay. I don't know what the fucking age of consent is in Israel. Despite all the content I've made in regards to Israel, that's not something that I have ever felt like I needed to spend any time learning. By the way, what RTS are you playing? I am playing...
And I think there's good reasons for that, because most people do not be like, what's the age of consent here? Because it's like, you should want to be with people who are adults as an adult yourself. Usually the youngest is 18, but depending if you're like 35, most people kind of look down upon that because of the age gap, experience, the power dynamic. So if somebody's like, okay, the bare bottom for my country is 16, well, oh boy, 16-year-olds, like, how old are you? An adult, and that's still, in any aspect, 16 is still basically a minor, even though that might be the bare bottom of age of consent, depending on your country. If you're targeting 16-year-olds in any way like this, that's bad. It doesn't matter if the age of consent starts at 16. The fact that you're trying to target 16-year-olds is creepy. There is something wrong with you.
Alright, I feel like if I look up that, I'm gonna end up on some fucking list. So, I'm not gonna do...
Why? Why would you do that, sirs? Maybe because you know that looking up the age of consent is kind of weird and creepy. Especially the age of consent that it starts with, or the bare bottom is 16. That's kind of weird to look that up. You would be on the list. I wonder why, sirs. Like, connect the dots here, sirs.
Do that. Israel is 6 to age of consent is a bit of a semantic argument. The average layman isn't going to be cool with 16-year-olds. I understand that. Tails. I agree with you. But my point is, given the breadth of ability of this content creator to actually formulate a good takedown, and their inability to do so, then I'm just going to go ahead and say that my immediate default is, what's the legal age where he lives? Because he is likely just doing the barest of bare minimum things.
Which is bad.
And the barest of bare minimum anybody would do is setting it to the legal age where they are, as opposed to the more universally accepted minimum age of 16, or not 16, but of 18. That's what I would expect. Is that somebody would just set it to their local area if they are somebody like Nux that is just doing the bare minimum for things and not much more. So technically, I think it should be higher, the higher of all relevant locations. I agree, which is why I'm not going to have... So, for instance, one of the rules to be in the adult area of my Discord, insofar as that even counts as one, is you have to be 18. I recognize that there are people who might be 16, who might want in there and go, oh, well, that's the age of consent where I live. Boy, howdy, I don't give a shit. I don't have to give a shit what the age of consent is where you are. If you're not 18, that's not what's happening. I don't give a flying fuck. Axo says, why not 18, though? 18 is internet standard. Again, if I'm going with dumbass on internet does bare minimum, the bare minimum is going to be based on where he lives.
I think he kind of gets the problem here, but again, just how he was trying to articulate what he was trying to say seemed to be an objection to something that's quite, like, common sense. That's like, yeah, that's kind of weird that you say 16-year-olds instead of 18-year-olds. Even if that's the bare bottom. Like, if you're in the bare bottom, there's something wrong with you, you know? Because, again, the broader context of Nux Taku's behavior with his audience, given that his audience are made of children and minors.
Because he's dumbass on internet that does bare minimum. Tail says, fair, Nux is using the semantics for evil. Correct. Correct. Matt Walsh has entered the chat about what the age of consent should be.
It's also highly questionable, given his decision to launch the server with a set of NSFW channels.
So I think Source did get the problem, but again, I think how he was trying to word it seemed kind of weird. Respectfully.
Including...
And I still kind of like Suris after this. It's just, I think this was just a very bad video that he did.
And NSFW...
Snob says, hey, it gets worse, by the way. Gee, I fucking hope it not only gets worse, I hope it actually gets somewhere. I'm 43 minutes into his video.
Unfortunately, it'll get worse. Oh boy. Oh boy. Buckle up, guys. Buckle up.
Voice channel. To be honest, I was surprised that there were NSFW channels when the server rules said 16 and up, because NSFW is supposed to be 18 and up.
I agree with that. I agree. Again, the bare minimum legally...
Finally, in a sense. Like, I think he's getting it, so pretty good. There's a little bit of a light at before the destruction, you know? Goodness.
Where he is probably going to be that stupid 16 shit, because if he lives in Israel, genocidal nation, by the way. So, that said, I still would not set the age of consent to that in a fucking Discord server. I would not.
I mean, if you already watch Nux, fair. To be clear, those channels were supposed to be only for adults. But given the state of Discord's age verification, setting a channel into NSFW mode doesn't really do anything to stop minors from accessing it. All they have to do is lie about their age to Discord. The channels were fortunately removed 6 days after the server was open to the public. The announcement of their removal does mention issues like minors sneaking in by lying about their age. However, the main reason was that having NSFW channels disqualified the server from Discord partnership. Some users protested. Nux's content already involved a lot of NSFW media, so why not allow people to post it in his community?
Okay, so I've actually had to deal with that shit in my Discord server. Not with NSFW, because I don't tend to cover NSFW topics the same way that the dumbass like Nux does, but for me, I talk about politics all the time. But we don't try to talk about politics in the Discord server. Why is that? Because I want it to be a chill place that I can look at and actually exist in without my moderators having to deal with a fucking fight every 12 seconds. I have had a politics or a venting section in a Discord server before, and that politics or venting section in the previous Discord led to constant fucking fights and people leaving the Discord server, leaving the community, because they did not want to deal with those fights all the goddamn time. Sergio says, in fact, the Discord being a safe space is the reason I'm not there. Yeah, because you have a fetish for fucking flagellating yourself. Because every goddamn second you have a moment to explain that you're not worthy or you're bad, you do it. And you're not the only one in my community that has that fucking habit. But I hear your boy says Discord is dying next month. No, it's not. We're gonna keep hearing the Discord is dying for the next 12 years as they do stupid shit, and then people get rid of their nitros, and then suddenly they're back where they are. I was actually accidentally allowed on the NSFW on the modern Discord server. You know what I did? I muted it, hide mutes, avoided it because I was scared of getting banned. Yeah, good on you. Good on you. See here, Memory Martin says, that's why I don't allow politics. I may bring up certain topics like gender, autism, but I'm trying to understand myself. Yep, that's fair. That is entirely fair. But, okay, let's continue the video.
A staff member responded that the age group of the Billies, that being the name of Nux Taku's fandom, wasn't appropriate for it. So even Nux Taku's Discord staff members knew that a large chunk of his audience were minors. The decision to have NSFW channels on the server was already questionable in the first place, but it becomes even more questionable when you remember that Nux Taku made that predator catfishing video months earlier.
I wanted to make this sort of an educational topic and bring light to an issue that's really big. There's a lot of predators on Discord. Like, a lot.
There's a lot of predators on Discord. Like, a lot.
Yeah,
How do you make...
There was a member in my community who got kicked out of my community because they were trying to be a predator. This is something that most people in my community don't know happened because they were kicked out when this was fucking figured out.
Make a video raising awareness of Discord predators, but then set up a Discord server which will facilitate adult conversations between adults and minors. But hey, they deleted the NSFW channels quickly, so the problem is solved, right? Not necessarily. Nux Taku shouted out the Discord on December 28th on his Twitch. And
Dorito, you knew me when it happened? You were not around for it happening.
December 30th on YouTube. His audience floods in, there's problems with minors showing up in the NSFW channels, and then they find out that having them at all would disqualify them from Discord partnership. Instead of wiping them out instantly, they announce they'll be deleted in 2 days. Why? So that people can pay their respects to a Discord goon channel? I saw a member of the council mention that the users on the NSFW channels set up their own fan NSFW server, which I have to guess the staff allowed them to promote on those channels. I can't confirm that since those channels are now gone, but I saw one user...
Even if the staff didn't allow them to promote it, if somebody promotes it and then it gets deleted, the promotion still happens, so...
even in the general channel promoting their own NSFW server. So all of those minors who were lying about their age in the first place and accessing the NSFW channel on Nux's server would just get funneled to that fan server instead. Who was moderating it? Who knows? What age verification standards were they going to uphold, assuming the admins are not minors themselves, or even worse, adult predators? There's a lot of those on Discord apparently. I'd like to remind you at this point that Ava Chris Tyson's Discord server was private when the NSFW channels were open in 2018. It was closed when the server was open to the public in January 2019. In Tyson's case, the drama was about LavaGS, Nathan, and apparently a handful of other minors being present on the server while it was private. The initial accusations made by Prism42 also included claims of Tyson grooming LavaGS, but no evidence for that was ever found. The Discord just had NSFW content available to minors. By those standards, Nux Taku's Reddit was already way worse, and his Discord way worse 4 years after Tyson's Discord, when there was more of a general awareness of these issues. Tyson's server apparently still had sexual chats or juvenile banter after it went public, but looking at the kinds of terms that were frequently used on Nux's Discord, there was plenty of that to go around. If NSFW content was now banned from Nux Taku's Discord, how did they handle Nux Taku's NSFW content? If the thumbnails contained NSFW content, the staff members would remove their embeds. Darn Nux using blatantly NSFW thumbnails that stay in the Discord cache after he censors them. Some users would still post NSFW images from Nux's content or the content of his friends, and the staff, despite reacting to them, wouldn't delete them. God damn it, Nux. We're trying to keep the order. In a recent one, he used a thumbnail from an actual porn video. Ah, okay, so Nux again with the nip slip, I see. This is Pokemon branded LOLI bestiality in January 2022. According to the way...
Are we really...
This is it. This could be the big one if I'm correct. Oh boy. Oh boy. Prepare yourselves.
Doing the if somebody does something with Pokemon, it's bestiality. Are we really doing that one?
Oh gosh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, here's my thoughts on this whole thing. Most of the Pokemon at least I've seen, and I think in general in the franchise as a whole, are usually not like Sonic the Hedgehog, where it's like, yeah, kind of weird, wouldn't do porn of it, but like if you do, might still be bestiality because he's still basically a hedgehog. Furries, I think it could lead to that, but that's actually a little bit of a different category. That's more like mascot pornography at the end of the day, to be honest. That's what it seems like at the end of the day. But when it comes to Pokemon, most of them are animal-like. They're pet-like. They're monster-like. They're not human-like. So yeah, it'll be literally, if not figuratively, bestiality. But oh boy, Suris apparently does not think so. Oh gosh.
Do we want to explain the Kadabra thing? The fact that in Pokemon, in the actual lore of Pokemon, there have been people who have dated their Pokemon. And that's just...
Yeah. Hot take, depending on the Pokemon, even then to an extent, depending on the situation, but even then, that's bad and weird and creepy. And that's sad that Pokemon's official lore is that. Prayfully, they stop that, or they try to make certain Pokemon more humanoid to the point where it won't be weird. In Jesus Christ's mighty name, amen. Which, I'm assuming, for those who have dated their Pokemon, it was like more humanoid, more like a Scarlet Witch Vision type of relationship, instead of what we're seeing now, which is bad, sirs. This thumbnail is obviously bad. That's a human being. Not even a human being. That is a human being who's also a minor. Doing sexual things to a very animalistic-like being. That's bestiality. I don't know what to tell you, sirs. Bestiality is bad. What do you want me to say?
The thing that happens. Like, obviously, there's nothing where a person dates a fucking Bidoof. Yes, that's gross as shit. Said, did my mic move? No, I moved myself. I said, no, yeah, the entire joke has been for years. There's no laws against the Pokemon Batman. Like, okay. Kidma says people used to marry Pokemon like Typhlosion. And also the Pokemon have emotional mental intelligence even higher than human in some cases. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and if they look animalistic, it's still bestiality. What do you want me to say?
Like, every single time that somebody goes, oh my god, somebody made something with a Gardevoir, oh no, that's so horrible, and it's like, how? Human-looking thing that's sapient. What are you on?
Okay, yeah, in that case, okay. Like, if they're basically humanoid and all that, then fine, don't really care much. But, again, most Pokemon are not like that. You know, but... goodness.
Obviously, this is not that. Point still fucking stands. Point still fucking stands. Double Trigger says, so is it wrong?
So, I think the better way to say this is like, this is bad, but in the past, more humanoid Pokemon have dated humans, or there has been SFW of humanoid Pokemon doing sexual stuff with people who I'm assuming should be adults. If they're not, that's still creepy and weird. Because, yeah, that's bad. Adults should do sex things. No, not minors. That's weird. If you're looking for sex stuff regarding minors, you should be in jail. And a lot of other things that I don't think I can necessarily say on YouTube. But then I would differentiate, which I think that's what Suris was trying to do, but again, like with the age of consent thing, I think how he tried to word the differentiation between more human-like Pokemon and bad stuff like we're seeing now. Nux Taku's thumbnail, which he agrees is bad. I think how he did that could have done better. Because it's mainly criticism, not really a takedown or nuke.
Or not. The point is, I don't give a shit. It's a fictional world where people have done stuff or not, and the most childish thing you can ever do is sit there and go, give me the black or white answer, give me the yes or no answer.
No, I don't, okay, I don't care if it's fantasy. Fantasy has themes, and fantasy has limits. That's what kind of makes certain fantasies good. If Lord of the Rings, you can do whatever you want. What Frodo did regarding dropping the ring wouldn't be that big of a deal. Him resisting the ring, you know, that's a fantasy. There's limits. There's stakes. There's things that some particular characters shouldn't and can't do. That's what kind of makes them good fantasy stories. Fantasy is not an excuse for anything bad. It depends on the situation, but even then, it's like, come on.
Real answer is, it doesn't fucking matter. The real...
No, the real answer is, it does. It does, sir. It does.
The real answer is that the more you care about it, the more you think about it, the more you obsess over it, the weirder of a fucking person you are.
Yeah, I would agree if you're so obsessed with people who are doing very creepy stuff, you know, depending on how you do it, it's like, yeah, I think you also need to touch some grass, you know, get some help in need be and get some Jesus. That's what Jesus Christ mighty name, amen.
Back machine, this thumbnail was left like this for months. This is on par with his idea to make Twitch streamers say the N-word. We removed the embed. Nux is pushing the limits, Lamar.
Yeah, that one I am okay with saying is fucking awful.
Yeah, I agree too. But I also agree all the other stuff is awful as well.
I don't see any reason for people to use that fucking word. I don't.
Now, what is he pushing the limits of? The thumbnail of his latest video. Then why he do it non-censored then? That's the big question. Here's a bigger...
Double says, okay, so nothing he's doing matters unless you make it matter. Double Trigger, are you an idiot? Just real quick, I just really...
No, this guy isn't an idiot. This guy's, I don't know, most likely consistent. No, this guy isn't the idiot. He's being, I don't know, maybe consistent. Because, respectfully, sirs, yeah, this guy ain't an idiot. I don't think you are, I just think you just didn't connect the dots, that's all. He's not being an idiot, I think he's just being consistent, like, yeah, all of it's a problem, but you have selectively said certain other things are a problem, instead of all of it was a problem.
We need to figure out, real quick, can you just explain it to me in simple terms? Like, because you seem to...
Nux Taku's audience is mainly of children and minors. The stuff that he has done is not for children and minors, and most of it's sexual, and inappropriate for children and minors. Therefore, Nux Taku is a creep.
Obviously have a opinion on this, so whatever my opinion on it is, I don't think it matters to you.
A question. If the age group of Nux's audience is too young for his Discord community to have NSFW channels, but most of the people on this server came from Nux's channel, why is the content of that channel too NSFW for the demographic of the Discord? Isn't this massively self-incriminating? Despite having this long history of running communities where minors were exposed to adult content, and that being the very core of his YouTube content for years, in 2024, Nux Taku wasn't only criticizing, but grandstanding over Ava Chris Tyson. He was also putting LOLI bestiality into his content before and after he was supposed to confront Shadman for drawing LOLI bestiality on September 30th of 2021. However, Nux Taku's numerous lies about his association with Shadman is something for a different video. There's also the V Shoujo drama to cover, which lots of people think he was in the right about. That is not the case at all, but again, different video. It's a real shame because what I'm going to reveal next is likely going to kill his career.
Okay.
Not to imply what I presented earlier isn't already bad enough.
Yeah, so everything from before is
quite bad, but for some weird reason, Suris just did not connect the dots.
dumbass edgelord did dumbass edgelord things and needs to be a more responsible community steward. Okay, that's what that means to me. I am willing to accept that because I think that that's all true things to be said about Nux. But what's the next bit? What's the next bit?
But this is just beyond forgiveness. You see, there is another Nux Taku Discord server, even older than his subreddit. I saw an ad for it, which made me very intrigued.
Really help keep my channel afloat. All patrons are invited to the Discord server, where we hang out having a great time, and unlike Tumblr, we have an NSFW section.
Okay.
Welcome to the Nexus, Nux Taku's Patreon Discord, founded in April of 2018. In its current state, the server is almost totally inactive, but the NSFW channel is still here. Despite having an NSFW channel, the server's rules mention nothing about a minimum age, and there is nothing about it being 18+ on the Patreon side either. What's special about this community is Nux's level of engagement. He wasn't talking to people on his Reddit, and he kept the interactions on the public Discord to a minimum. However, on the Patreon Discord, at least in 2018-2019, he would actually talk to people and even hang out in voice chats with them. Here we can actually see him talking with the artist behind his 2019-era character. The original high-resolution files are here as well. This one, where Nux is rubbing his hands, has the file name nux_merchant.png. Very interesting.
The
NSFW channel wasn't there.
The dude who now lives in Israel did the happy merchant meme unironically. But wait, hold on. At the same time, hold on. There is a secondary thing with that. Isn't that also the shit that the mask merchant in Majora's Mask does? Isn't that also the shit that they do as well?
If Nux Taku created something like this, like if it's called the Nux Taku Merchant, what are most people thinking of? The anti-Semitic happy merchant image. Not what you said that I didn't even know about until I watched the video. Suris, again, I think you're overanalyzing. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. To just say, yeah, that's kind of yikesy. Until you might get some information of, oh, it's actually from something else, then okay. But again, it's called Nux Taku Merchant. And it's similar to the anti-Semitic happy merchant image. Again, not connecting the dots and being over-analytical, over-analyzing. Those have been the main problems with this video as a whole.
Fairly certain. That's what I was saying, but he calls it Jewish. Yeah, so the Jewish merchant meme is an anti-Semitic meme. 110%. 110%. But if it's just called merchant, there is that bit of plausible deniability because, at the same time, that's what the fucking Happy Mask salesman does as well in Majora's. So is this hitbeast not going to actually address the real terrible things he's said and done? It seems like it. It seems like he might not be interested in actually...
Oh boy, there's been a lot, Suris. You just have missed it, respectfully.
Addressing things that have been really said and really done. It feels weird.
From the start, we can trace its creation to this exchange from October 15th, 2018.
Honestly, what feels weird is you just have not connected the dots.
Where we can see this user, who from now on will be called Red, repeatedly asking Nux to create it. If we look at the time and date of these messages, the NSFW channel was made 2 minutes later. In response to this, Red raised
Go back a few seconds? Okay.
The NSFW channel wasn't there from the start. We can trace its creation to this exchange from October 15th, 2018, where we can see this user, who from now on will be called Red, repeatedly asking Nux to create it. If we look at the time and date of these messages, the NSFW channel was made 2 minutes later. In response to this, Red raised their Patreon pledge, and Nux
you can see
gave
him
them
call it Jewish? Hold on.
One where Nux is character. The original high-resolution files are here as well. This one, where Nux is rubbing his hands, has the file name nux_merchant.png. Very interesting.
Do you have the fan art you made of Nux as the merchant Jew? Because I need it for something. Who's the deleted user? Is the deleted user supposed to be Nux? Is that who that's supposed to be? Like, I don't doubt it. Suris is busy on Halo to read it. Yeah, no, I see it, but... Said, oh, well, that's cut and dry. That one is Nux, but... Or, sorry, I think that one is supposed to be Nux. I don't know if it is. Do you have the fan art you made of Nux? So, there is a chance that Nux would see that as a character. That he would say, hey, because like I've done that before, where I'm like, hey, can you make me a Suris that has this? I have had that conversation with artists before.
If you have a conversation, and you're like, I need something, Jew, and you get the Nux Taku, the merchant, that's kind of a red flag, Suris. It's like, oh yeah, I need like a merchant type of thing, like Jew, like a Jewish merchant. Like, come on, red flags just hit back and forth. Goodness.
So that's not outside the realm of possibility. That one I can see.
The NSFW channel wasn't there from the start. We can trace its creation to this exchange from October 15th, 2018, where we can see this user, who from now on will be called Red, repeatedly asking Nux to create it. If we look at the time and date of these messages, the NSFW channel was made 2 minutes later. In response to this, Red raised their Patreon pledge, and Nux gave them a thumbs up. For a brief moment, let me take you to August of 2024. Nux Taku is finally being pressed about his past content, and he was actually pushed into making a response.
The biggest shock to me to this day entering the broader commentary sphere was the dangers lurking around every corner in regards to children. Children are not safe on the internet. I only became chronically online after high school, but I couldn't imagine what it would do to me if I was in some YouTuber's Discord server at the age of 12 or 14.
You couldn't imagine. You don't need to. Red joined the server on September 7th.
Yeah, you ran
On
it.
day 1, they openly declared themselves to be 14 years old. They would later claim to be 15 multiple times, but as they openly stated, they were lying about their age. Red was born in 2004. They had turned 14 soon before they joined the server. The Discord was a pretty small clique, and soon enough, basically everyone on the server knew that Red was underage. Despite this, Nux Taku made the NSFW channel for them a month later, and within a year, they had posted 242 messages on the channel. There's also an instance.
There we go. That is something that I would consider damning. That is
Finally! I'm a little bit tired, but finally.
something I would consider damning. If you know that somebody is a minor, and you deliberately...
Which he has already done via his audience, but Suris did not connect the dots.
Give that person, who is a minor, access to something they should not have access to.
Like NSFW contest, with no age restriction required.
There are very few situations where I can see that as being okay. And
what I just described is never okay.
In fact, I would argue in most situations, that's just... Double Trigger says, there, now you're invested. Yeah, because he fucking... Okay.
Exactly. I'm sorry, the chatter is correct here. Now you're invested, now you get the problem of Nux Taku. Like, oh goodness, I was like, finally! The first time I watched it, I'm like, finally! You're getting it a little bit, you're finally getting it.
Double Trigger, let me ask you a question. If it takes you 53 minutes to get to the meat of saying, by the way, this person supplied porn to minors, This person deliberately and knowingly supplied porn to minors. Here is the evidence. That's what you should lead with. Do you agree with that? That is a strong argument, and one should lead with that strong argument. Because that's all I'm saying, is that is a very, very strong argument. That is an argument that I would be perfectly willing to hang my hat on, and that is an argument that I think you should lead with.
And I think you'll get into more of why, but I think this is the perfect time to talk about what I mentioned. There's two ways that this could have happened. This way, where you see the little red flags until something big happens, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, of course Nux Taku did this because of all the other little bad stuff that he's done, and so this big bad stuff might not be so surprising. Whereas Suris, I think, I get it in some ways, rightly so. Depending on how you view a video like this, is that you should lead in with this first, then all the other stuff to show like this wasn't just an accidental thing, like Nux Taku didn't accidentally do this and he didn't know. No, he did know, and in fact, he has a weird behavior recording his audience, which are children and minors, and he has done minor things as well, so this isn't something you should be surprised about. Both things could be good, but I think Suris doesn't get that there's two ways to do the nuke like this, and I think the first one I explained, I think, makes sense, at least for this video, because that's what the video did. I think it's fine. But what Suris wanted is this part first, then maybe all the other stuff to kind of show that this wasn't just some willy-nilly accident. Like, he has other stuff that are little red flags.
Trigger says, I'll admit he said they can work towards it, but not that many minutes away. Exactly. Exactly. Like, if you want to say this content creator is bad, this content creator is doing bad things, and again, I'm sitting here as a person who does not like Nux, whose girlfriend has actively been shunned by Nux. Because when Saki got doxxed years ago, the person she turned to figure out what to do was Nux. Because at the time, Nux was the one who was broaching the fucking, the doxing. The doxing that had been happening, or the leak from the big fucking VTuber group. Saki got doxxed as a result of that leak and got swatted. She talked to Nux about it to try to get some eyes on that situation, and he basically shrugged it off, going, as not something that was important to his day or time. That pisses me off. Not just counting all of the fucking right-wing propaganda shit he's been okay spewing, that shit pisses me off. As somebody who, you know, is dating Saki. So I have a bias against this motherfucker, and apparently, even with that, I'm sitting here going like, man, but there's so many reasonable explanations for everything you're fucking saying, or everything is a nothing burger, and that's just...
No, that's not true. That's just not true, Suris.
That's not helpful. Said, why do people still support him? Why does he have friends still? Because the deeper you get into the content creator space, the more people will pal around each other, more because they are mutually useful to one another, than that they are legitimate friends. That is what it is more than anything. Irrespective of whether or not people are legitimately friends, they are useful to one another, and therefore stick around to one another because they are mutually useful to each other.
Where another user pinged red into the NSFW channel. As far as I can tell, this behavior was not punished. So a 14-year-old paid Nux Taku money to be on his Patreon Discord server. He made the NSFW channel for them, after which he accepted even more money from them, and allowed them to post onto that channel for over a year before they left the server.
Yeah, no, that's... So, like, as an example, if I found out that somebody in my community was a minor, and that minor posted in an NSFW section, guess what would happen to that miner? They'd get kicked out of the Discord instantly. You'd be gone. 110%. That's not a thing that you get to do. Everything says as they should. Drew Today says, I'm a miner. No, the fuck you're not. You're ex-military. The only thing minor about you is your fucking dick size.
But did Nux Taku know that Red was underage? There is
Axo says, nervous laugh. Yes, Axo. You never posted in one of those areas. You didn't get kicked out. Because when you were like, oh shit, this is a place I probably shouldn't be, you fucking left.
no message of Nux acknowledging Red's age. However, it is extremely unlikely that he didn't know. In this conversation from earlier, where Red says they're lying about their age, Nux Taku shows up soon afterwards. In this conversation, there's some kind of an ERP going on in the general chat, which is interrupted by Red. Red is told not to get involved because they're underage. After Red says the conversation is...
Maybe instead of not getting involved, maybe Red shouldn't have fucking been in there in the first place. That's not a you shouldn't be involved, that's a you shouldn't be in the area where it's happening.
Is making them gag, another user jokes, oh no, we better stop if we are gagging a miner. Red pinged Nux Taku soon afterwards, but Nux didn't show up. This is Mintheus Mouselord, or Mitochondria, or Mito. According to Nux Taku, they were the best poster on the NSFW channel. In this conversation about BDSM, we can see Red asking Mito to send their presentation on sex toys to other users. Note, I just made the presentation because Red was clueless. After Bex mentions having a high tolerance to weirdness, Nux shows up to say, proud fanbase. Gremmen asks Mito to send the presentation to Nux. I think that Red already sent it to him. No, I told ya. Never sent it, but I can now. What are we sending me? A sex toy presentation. Why? Lol. We needed to explain sex toys to Red. Nah, it's fine if it's not sent to Nux. Already did, Mito. I'm not doing honest descriptions on all Mito's sex toys. Few minutes later at 2:16, Nux says, very cool, Mito, very cool. Nux Taku has now received a direct message from a miner on his server, containing a link to a sex toy presentation that was made for them. What?
Yeah, no, that's the kind of thing where you tell that person to no longer be a part of your community. Like, even if somebody's a patron, there are certain dollars that are not worth you having. And dollars that involve a miner sending you fucking shit that they should not have access to, those are dollars that are not worth you having.
What adult...
Agree. And basically, during this point, there's really nothing bad there's really nothing I want to criticize Suris about, but, you know, just keep watching, because there's some good parts. This is the good part. You know, the roller coaster, like I said earlier on in this video, we're in the good parts, you know. We'll get to more bad parts. I don't remember briefing on Jesus Christ, my name. Amen. I do want you to see kind of basically the full video to show that, like, I just don't want to show the parts that I think are the bad parts from Suris. I want to show you also the good parts from Suris.
Is clueless about sex toys. That's a massive red flag that Red is a minor. There was a previous time a month earlier when users in the voice chat text channel begged Nux Taku to join the VC because they needed help explaining sex toys to Red. Again, what adult doesn't know what sex toys are? In this example...
Okay, so...
So, the first time I heard this, I'm like, yeah, I agree with Suris, but also, again, just based off how Nux Taku is like, it's like, no, I think they know. I think they were just being memeing. They're joshing and joking. But yes, what Suris is about to say is also true, but two things could be right at the same time. What Suris is about to say is true, but also, again, I think they knew.
Devil's advocate on that one. In my community, I have seen some adults that don't know why you have a fucking flared base on a plug. I have seen...
I don't know what that means.
Some people be very fucking clueless about sex toys.
And I'm an adult.
It has happened. Yeah, we'll try to...
I'm somewhat clueless about sex toys, but I know enough as an adult to kind of know what they are, and the fact that I'm saying, and the fact that if I was an adult in this situation, I'm saying these things here about sex toys with a minor. Yeah. FBI, open up.
It's a terrible argument. Again, like, if you've got somebody who's ace, or you have somebody who's, like, really neurodivergent or really sheltered, you can find somebody who does not understand those things at all, but is still an adult. They could be 18, 19, 20, hell, they could be 25 and still not understand that shit. Fennec says, are you familiar with Badge 52? Nope. Not at all.
Nux Taku declined the invitation
Me neither.
to join the VC, but he absolutely was in voice chats with Red multiple times. One of my agents reached out to Red and asked him about their time on the server. They were willing to share their DMs with Nux to show that they did actually send him the sex toy presentation. So that actually happened. It wasn't just a joke. When asked about whether they were ever in voice chats with Nux Taku, Red recalled being in a VC with him plenty of times, couple of times a week. They'd be surprised if Nux didn't notice them being underage, since everyone else did. However, they don't recall Nux ever commenting on their age. Now, I am not a journalist. I'm just a guy on the internet. However, I know you're not supposed to take one person's word and just run with it. Red could be misremembering, they might have some bias for or against Nux Taku, so it's important to have corroborating evidence. On December 15th, 2018, Nux Taku pinged a deleted user to a VC. Red says Nux is in VC, everyone flood, implying they joined the voice channel with Nux. There's a similar message from January 15th, 2019. If we scroll down a bit, we can see a screenshot showing Nux in the VC with Red. The real Nux Taku here is the real Nux Taku.
CJ says, was he the only mod? If it was a Patreon server, maybe? Because, like, usually your Patreon server is a lot smaller. Because, like, for me, my regular server is somewhat large, but my Patreon section of the server is very, very small, and usually doesn't get updated all that often because of how small it is. So maybe that's a factor here? Could be wrong, though. I easily could be wrong.
Taku. Here's another screenshot from the time. Same name, same avatar. The current music channel used to be the old voice text channel, and on it we can sometimes see Red and Nux posting things close to each other that only makes sense if they were in the VC at the same time. Here, for example, Nux is working on a thumbnail. There's a message from Red, messages from Nux Taku, and then a message from Red. An hour later, messages from Nux Taku. In this one, we have a message from Red addressing Nux. Later a photo from Nux, then a photo from Red. In this instance, Red asks somebody to join the VC. Another user posts a caked up Charizard. Nux Taku shows a work-in-progress thumbnail. Message from Red, the Charizard from earlier is now on Nux's thumbnail. There's plenty of evidence of Red speaking, having audio issues, and other users commenting about their voice. So it's not like they never talked in the VC. I think this evidence sufficiently corroborates Red's recollection that they were in the VCs with Nux Taku multiple times. I'm not sure about a couple times a week, but certainly multiple times. Red was already behaving in a pretty immature way, even in the text messages. They would spam emojis and walls of text. To believe that Nux Taku didn't know Red's age, you'd have to believe he missed all of the instances when their age was mentioned. You'd have to believe no one told him Red was a minor in chats, VCs, or DMs, and that Nux didn't realize it from their voice when talking to them in VCs. This should already be enough to strongly conclude that Nux Taku knew. But to show the full extent of the evidence and the full extent of Nux Taku's beyond incomprehensible neglect, we need to introduce a new character. After joining the server, Red quickly made friends with another user called Alan Vebus. I know that Alan's avatar here looks an awful lot like Mr. Obvious from my engineer video, but they are not the same person. Alan was a small anime creator at the time and would promote his videos on Nux's Discord. The metadata of his channel reveals that he is from Romania, and he would often mention things about it on the server. There's a lot of conversations between them and Nux Taku on the server, and Nux has mentioned Alan's name 100 times. He even shouted out Alan's channel in a video from October 22nd, 2018.
All patrons are invited to the Discord server, where we do things like make fun of Alan Weebus. If you don't know who Alan Weebus is, oh, trust me, $1 to the Patreon is worth it to meet the guy. He's in a special kind of category, where everyone that relates to him in any way is a tsundere, because we all constantly make fun of him, and make believe we hate him, but we all low-key like him. And also, thank you, Alan Weebus, for donating $10 on Patreon, so now I get to shout you out in all my videos. Link to Alan Weebus' channel is actually in the description. He makes funny shiz, and he takes the edge out of edgy, which leaves you just why? Like, why is he making this video? That kind of thing. Anyway, special thanks to King Beat My Meat Sage.
Alan was a very major contributor to the NSFW channel. However, according to Nux, they were still inferior to mitochondria. He apparently got his material from following more than 300 hentai artists on Twitter. That's only a third of the amount that Tecton was following. Alan has made a lot of claims about their age, including saying that he was as young as 15. Plenty of users, including Nux Taku, have also claimed Alan to be underage. Alan is a LOLI, no can do. Alan is underage. Does that mean Nux is grooming Alan? What's going on here? According to Red's recollection, Alan was around 19 at the time. In this tweet, they claim to be 19 in 2019. So, if they're telling the truth here, they would have been 18. Another former member believed Alan to be around 21. According to Red's recollection, no one on the server genuinely believed Alan was underage. These statements about Nux grooming Alan or Nux calling Alan a lolly are simply jokes. Very optically bad jokes, but jokes nonetheless.
Yeah, no, I feel like if somebody's like, this person's a lolly. No, they're my lolly. I might not want to associate with the person saying that shit.
Yeah, I agree.
At a certain point, that's fucking weird as shit.
While I'm not sure about Alan's exact age, they were clearly an adult. Alan has unfortunately deleted their Discord account, which makes it hard to determine which messages are his. But we can still tell if it's him talking thanks to context clues. Here Nux Taku mentions that Megumin from Konosuba is best girl. Alan points out that she is 14 years old. Another deleted user, who I assume is Zack, asks Alan about another character called Taiga. There's two deleted users talking here, so how can we tell them apart? Alan must be one of them because their name is mentioned. So this one must be Zack. One of them mentions the age of consent in Romania being 15, so that must be Alan. Zack uses capitalization, while Alan doesn't. That's how we know that it was Alan who said, "Who cares? If she can count, then she ready to mount."
This is Hassan taking more shots at Nux Taku in his week-long feud with me while defending his bro tips past. Alright, I never brought up his bro tips past because I felt like it was so long ago it's not worth it, but he's bringing up like random shit from forever ago and warping it into calling me a pedophile for insane reasons. Did you know that in his bro tips past he had a famous quote where he said if she's old enough to count, she's old enough to mount?
Come back again next week when we discuss the legendary question of all time. Old enough to count, old enough to mount?
Listen, Hassan Piker is many things. Terrorist sympathizer, I think communist, radical leftist, but pedophile? No. No, not in this case. If I'm correct, this is not a question of, yeah, I want to do it. It's a kind of it's not what you think it is, guys. Again, Hassan Piker's a lot of things, but he is not a pedophile that I know of, alright? Alright? Also, I thought this was almost Stephen Crowder, because this, respectfully, man, this was like, I guess mid-2010s him.
Question mark?
If that's not pedophile behavior, I don't know what is.
When Hassan said that,
is everybody involved in this a massive idiot? I just need to know, is everybody involved in this absolutely fucking dumb as shit? I need to, for my own sanity, I need to know. It said yes? Yeah, absolutely.
In 2013, he was playing a character, and he was asking it, not flat out stating it like Alan did. We can see Nux Taku right here, not condemning those words at all.
Exactly.
So he either used to not care about pedophile behavior, didn't think that it was pedophile behavior, or his attack on Hassan is knowingly deceitful. There's a difference between...
It's knowingly deceitful. It's knowingly deceitful. I think we can basically say that without a shadow of a doubt.
Waifu and best girl. Waifus are mountable, so therefore the best girl isn't. However, the art of the best girl is LOLI inclusive. Nux is using that word in the petite anime character sense, not the cartoon CP sense. Nux's stance on personally not being into LOLI hentai has been consistent for years, but it didn't stop him from posting it onto YouTube. Then Alan says, "Lolis are very mountable." Nux Taku responds, "You're terrifying, Alan," and moves on. This was 12 days before Nux gave Alan that shoutout on his channel, so Alan saying things like this didn't seem to be a problem to him.
And he takes the edge out of edgy.
Look at this art. This art is better. And it's Alan posting a comic about some boy kissing his dog. I wish I would be able to get sick from stuff like this again. By the way, don't ask why do I have that. Why do you have that? Red sent it to me. He always sends me fucked up shit like this. That guy's a sociopath, I tell ya. Red shows up and claims Alan is the one who sent it, and shows a screenshot from their DMs. Wow, you resort to Photoshop to make me look bad? Shame. Red shares another screenshot, showing some of Alan's earlier messages. People have no shame, shake my head. Also, I hope someone at school sees you watching this. Is that Minecraft? Yes, I'm 15. Deal with it. Oof, I feel old. He's literally the youngest guy here. I am the youngest? Oh, he is. Makes sense. Yep, Red is 15-year-olds personified. Ha, I'm still underage. So, cause you're talking to me, you are all technically pedophiles. Not me. Yup, remember, the age of consent in Romania is 15, so I can smack your ass all I want. It's only been 26 minutes since the last time Alan brought up the Romanian age of consent. Alan would make similarly inappropriate comments about Red on the 16th of December. But let's return to October 8th. You are willing to send me the most
I said, why are we going through this? Because Nux is a person who is horrible. He's no different than a Matt Walsh or a Ben Shapiro. This is a takedown of him. And at first I was watching the takedown because I was interested to see how it would go. Because I have an interest in Nux Taku not getting everybody on the fucking platform on his fucking side on anything anymore. I think he's a fucking creep. I think his support of right-wing shit is garbage. So we're listening to a takedown of him. Unfortunately, in the course of listening to the takedown, I have also been hearing several parts that just would not hold up to any amount of scrutiny. This stuff...
Which is the problem, because when I first saw this, I'm like, I think I kind of know about Nux Taku. I think, like, yeah, I think he's right-wing or Christian or whatever. So it's like, interesting, VTuber drama, you know? This is my alley. I'm part VTuber. I should know. Then I watched it, and I was like, oh gosh, Suris, no, please, oh gosh. No, don't. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I see exactly. You get it. Finally, you get it. Yeah. That was basically my first reaction to it, and I think it's important because this, not just takedown. I think this is basically a nuke. Again, there are two reactions that I've seen that seemed quite different, but still had the same conclusion that Nux Taku is a creep and bad. But I think how they knew that, the time that they knew that via the nuke video is, I think, the big thing, which you'll see in the next video what I'm talking about. The big contrast. Especially the source, because again, this isn't a nuke, this isn't a takedown, this is mainly criticizing someone.
Stuff does hold up to scrutiny. Like, once you've got minors in your audience, in any way, shape, or form, the responsibility that you have as a content creator magnifies.
Agree.
Fucking disgusting shit you have. I only send it to you because you're 15. Exactly. Nobody else would. I initially planned to traumatize you because you were acting tough, but I underestimated you. Who, me? I'm not tough. I guess edgy instead of tough. I am edgy. Not that tough though. Yeah, I got that. I need to train you to become tough. Okay. At this point, Nux Taku or the moderators should be intervening
Yeah, that guy's most likely in the Epstein files.
and investigating what's happening in the DMs between Alan and Red. However, there wouldn't be any moderators or rules on the server until 2020. In late 2019, the server was raided by gore spammers multiple times, and Nux Taku did nothing about it. What finally made him appoint moderators is when his patrons pulled their pledges. This is one of his own newly appointed moderators saying it at the time. According
Wait, did he really not have mods for that long? How do you not have mods for that long? With as large as his community is, why would you let a unmoderated community function for any amount of time? That not only sounds like a stupid idea, but that sounds like the kind of idea that if you decide to have it, if you have that idea, I question every subsequent idea you have from that point forward.
I think there are many other parts in this video where it's like, yeah, I don't think I trust you. No, I don't think I like you. But at this point of the video, this is basically when Source is like, yeah, I get it. Though he should have got it earlier, he did get it. And that is one of the most important parts. The second part. The first part is him not getting it. That's why I'm mainly doing this video. If he got it, I wouldn't be doing this video. But the second part is also important to show that he didn't just not get it. He did finally get it.
Conversations in your Discord, the community that you create as a content creator is a reflection on you. That is why it's a good idea when somebody is being a nutbag in your Discord to fucking ban them. If you are a content creator, you ban those people.
to Red, on the first day they joined the server, Alan spammed their DMs with a bunch of gore and NSFW content. There are multiple instances of Red or Alan publicly mentioning Alan sending gore to Red. Here's one from October 6th. On October 14th, Alan mentioned showing his personal collection to Red. On January 1st, 2019, Alan actually posted a gore image into the voice chat channel and pinged Red. In February 2019, Red reacted to a meme by saying, "I can take pictures of men's penises being cut in half, but this is too much even for me." It was a gif and just a tip. Yeah, but dramatic effect, Alan. Shake my head. The message below contains nudity, and if we go one message further, we can see a message from Nux Taku. Alan having a fascination with gore seemed to be pretty well known on the server. One regular user made this meme about the various quirks of the other regular members. Alan's comedic summary was, posting a
Superstorm, and I didn't catch this when it happened, I'm sorry, but they said, "My friend finally helped me brave out to the card shop tonight. Thank you." Hey, that's awesome. That's fucking cool.
Extreme mutilation pics. Notice that Nux Taku was pinged on this message. Sending this kind of material to a minor is very harmful and a crime, and it's been going on for 5 months, and Nux Taku has done nothing. Red would sometimes ask Alan to send him things. "Send me the most fucked up shit you have. Look for it yourself. I want my friend to know you are worse than the dark web." Soyboy here is another adult user and also a small anime creator. He already knows that Red is underage. Despite this, he asks Red if he can send them something truly disturbing. "Okay, Soy, send it to me." BT? Come on. I expected at least nuggets. If you don't know what that word means, don't look it up. Alan proceeds to drop codes to some extremely obscene comics. Thanks, Alan. Soy, I am extremely disappointed. Red, you scare me. That is actual animal rape and murder. I know. How is that not the most fucked up thing? Alan sent me a video of a man getting his head off by a machete. Real life, of course. Nux Taku was pinged about something off top.
Oh, so they were just showing fucking... Just flat out gore. Just here's gore, have fun. That's fucking gross as shit.
Yep, in a Christian's perspective. Yep, in a Christian's Yep, in a Christian and in a Yep, and in a Christian's perspective, not only that, but it's definitely demonic and satanic. It is demonic and satanic.
And the kinds of people that actively seek that out are severely broken.
True.
I'm sorry. You don't actively seek that shit out unless there is something super fucked up about you. So this kid's a pizza wheel? Yeah, all edge, no fucking point. Did you see the thing I did? It's so offensive. Okay, but why'd you do it? 'Cause it's so offensive. Why does that matter? 'Cause it's offensive. Okay? And what did you gain? What did you gain from this interaction? Well, I offended somebody. Okay? Why is that what you were going for? Why does it matter? Why is that a thing that you hold value in? Ask yourself the question, why do you hold value in doing things that are triggering? The point of shock humor is to make somebody question why they are shocked about the thing in the first place, or to get somebody's attention in a lull. And if you're not accomplishing either of those things, then you're just doing it for the sake of doing it? And there's no reason for that to be a thing that's on your fucking agenda. Yeah.
100%.
Rebel without a cause. Altfact says sending gore to a minor. What's wrong with that? Question. So let me put you in the shoes of a parent real quick. Let me put you in the shoes of a parent. If you're a parent and an adult is sending your child pictures of a corpse, pictures of somebody who got mutilated, cut up, something like that, they're sending.
Or, I don't know, ask you to do a contest of NSFW, or a child themselves send you something that was, well, stupid kid stuff in a sense. You know, all that stuff, all those red flags, you know?
Sending that shit in private to them. Would you not have some questions, some concerns? Would that not be one of those things that gives you pause? I said, so this person is the... I don't know what any of that is. Said, as a parent, I'll be sending my own fucked up shit right back. You're a weird case, though. Altfact says, oh, sorry, I'm being sarcastic. Yeah, I could not tell, I'm sorry. Understandable. Have a nice day.
Topic immediately after that message, but it didn't show up. After getting Nux Taku to create the NSFW channel, Red suggested making a Not Safe for Life channel for Alan, to which Alan said, I wouldn't make Nux Taku watch something like that. You, on the other hand, can get it. Nux Taku's nowhere to be seen, but then Soyboy mentions Toei Animation claiming one of his videos. Nux Taku replies to him with advice, once again showing how close he was to seeing these warning signs. Beyond conditioning Red into tolerating extremely shocking and obscene imagery, Alan also encouraged them to drop out of school. On Tuesday, October 9th, Red mentions skipping school to binge-watch anime. Alan cheers them on and says that skipping school is badass, and that he's doing it as well, because he's a badass like Red. On October 10th, Nux Taku pings various users, including Red, to inform them that he finished reading the Black Clover manga all in one day. School got cancelled for the rest of the week for me because the head teacher got so I shall be around lots.
Are we just doing that to show that he had all the evidence he needed to understand that there were minors in his server? Because, like, if that's what he's doing here, then that's fine. But if we're trying to... I don't see a point besides that, I guess?
Words like head teacher and school are used by children, not college students. Another clear red flag that Red is a minor, right in Nux's face. What? Go to sleep, kid. Another clear indication that Red is a minor. Yeah, lol, 176 chapters in a day. This is 5 days before Red got Nux Taku to create the NSFW channel. If you're worried about that stabbing story, it's something that Red made up at the time. On Thursday, October 11th, Red mentions having skipped 4 days of school to binge anime. Another user cheers him on. School is a waste of time. On Monday, October...
It's okay. We've established that he had every ability to tell that this was a minor. I understand. Is there something besides that here?
Out of school. Let's go to February 2019. Red is talking to Bex, who seems to be having some form of breakdown caused by opiate withdrawals. Many of Beck's messages actually mention them being addicted to drugs, spending all their money on drugs, and having various mental illnesses. Please keep that in mind when passing judgment about what I'm going to show next. I might be overly cautious here because YouTube does not like when certain things are discussed, such as SH. And in this exchange, knowing they're in the presence of a minor...
Okay, am I dumb? What's SH? What is SH? I feel like that's one that I should know. Self-harm, okay. Self-harm. Just fucking say the fucking word! God fucking damn it! I'm so tired.
I kind of get what Source is saying here, and depending on the situation, I get it. It's like, okay, come on. This is getting a little bit pedantic. This is getting redundant. Come on, just say it. But also, I think, I guess, because he's someone to be monetized, I guess you can't say self-harm. I don't know, because I'm not monetized, so I don't know.
Of the softness of the current internet, I am so fucking tired of it. I want to fucking bang my head against a goddamn wall. There is no goddamn reason that we should be censoring every fucking thing to the point where we can't understand basic fucking words very quickly. I'm gonna have a fucking crash out about that shit. No, I'm...
Again, I do agree, but again, since I'm not monetized, maybe that's why he did it, I don't know.
That's so fucking dumb. That's so fucking dumb. Just say the word. Just say the word. Fucking hell.
Bex explains how it works and basically makes it sound really cool. Red mentions having used SH to manipulate their parents into letting them quit school. Really? That's impressive. Red expressed that they felt like a terrible person for doing it, how it felt, and they mention only doing it twice, to which Bex says, "Psh, imagine only doing it twice. I decided to stop before I couldn't." Real sad boys have on their thighs. Red then reveals that they built their upper arm a lot of times. Bex comments, "Ooh, nice." Again, this was a very irresponsible way to talk about these things with a minor. I don't have any experience or knowledge of how SH works, but Red claims that this needle stuff apparently happened way before they joined the server, but they claim that it was not enough to cause the effect, which makes SH addictive. Based on their comments from back then, there was clearly a unique sensation there, but again, I don't know for sure. Red claimed that the first time they did it for real was on October 31st, 2018. They had a fight with their family, which led to them dropping out. On the day before, Red asked Alan for advice on how to get over their fear of the pain of SH. I'm not sure if Alan is jokingly suggesting that Red should try flipping, as in juggling knives, or if he should try using a folding knife, and he used the word flipping by mistake. Red seemed to interpret it as a suggestion for a type of knife, and asks if he could...
Axo says the motherfucker was okay saying pedophile and lolly, but was not okay saying self-harm. Yeah, no, this is the... I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound cringe as fuck to some people, but I stand by these words. The pussification of the internet, the babyfication of the internet, is 110% a ploy by people with money to find more ways to make money off of the internet safely. That's what it is. It is a way to make more money off of people. Always has been. Because whenever somebody goes like, oh, well, what's the reason that you didn't say suicide? Oh, well, I didn't want to get demonetized. It's money. It's just money. It's just fucking money. Jesus.
Could use a kitchen knife if you...
Well, depending on their content, they just either don't like it, but also some people... Their life savings are on YouTube in a sense, or how they pay their bills is on YouTube. So there's that as well. But again, I broadly agree with Source here.
You yourself, you'll realize the pain is pretty...
As a whole, at the end of the day, basically.
Whatever. Okay, thanks. You're welcome. If we scroll down a bit, we can see the exchange where Red asked Alan to talk about the problem of no longer going to school. They hadn't actually dropped out yet. That would happen soon after the 31st, when the SH first occurred. Red would eventually develop an addiction to it. In February 2019, we can see Red mention that he talks to the least people in real life on the server. I have talked to 3 different people in real life in the last month. 5 months after joining the server, they've dropped out of school, they are self-harming, and they've become socially isolated. Despite Alan constantly behaving in an inappropriate, abusive, and downright criminal manner towards Red, Red perceived him as trustworthy. Red saw Alan as a good friend, bestest friend, and the reason why they haven't committed. We have already established that the odds that Nux Taku didn't know that Red was a minor are super low. The further we looked, the more examples we saw of messages that must have been in Nux Taku's line of sight that would indicate to any reasonable person that Red is a minor, or that Alan is sending some weird stuff to him. Nux Taku was also familiar with Alan. They've talked a lot, he's mentioned him lots of times, they hung out in VCs, and he gave Alan a shout out on his channel. But did Nux Taku know about the other part of Alan's reputation? Check this out. On January 16th of 2019, Alan posted a bait-and-switch video into the general chat channel. The thumbnail shows a naked woman, but when the video is played, it switches to a video containing stuff like this. Despite the warnings given by other members to not look at it.
Prolapse, okay. So, again, dumb, edgy shit for the sake of being dumb, edgy shit.
Red can be seen giving their reaction to the
still a problem.
Video. You can take that as a corroboration for my testimony of what the video is. Violet said that Alan should be banned. Nux Taku was then pinged because Alan did something bad. Nux shows up and says, "Wow, didn't see that one coming," and he then leaves. He took no action. He didn't delete the video or punish Alan or anything. Again, that was January of 2019. Nux Taku would still have Alan on the Rant Cafe podcast in July and August.
And next, we also, believe it or not, have Alan Weebus himself.
Hi there. Sorry, I'm the replacement for Animac Forever. He's dead now. I killed him. So you're gonna have to get accustomed to my presence from now on.
Despite everything that was happening for months, Nux Taku publicly endorsed this guy and presented him to his audience as this harmless, funny troll guy. When I asked Red about these old messages concerning their personal situation at the time, they said it was the beginning of probably the darkest period in their life. The good news is that they stopped self-harming in 2021. They went into a dropout rehabilitation.
Yeah, no, again, so, point about...
Which, with the rehabilitation, they can praise God for that.
Being a responsible community person, and I'm not saying that I am the most responsible. I'm not. Because I might not be. There might be shit that I have gotten completely wrong, completely fucked up on. Absolutely. But you don't fucking encourage self-harm. If there's one thing that the 3edgy 5me stupid shit crowd has always had in spades, it is giving the worst fucking advice on the planet solely so that you can be like, LOL so edgy. And one of the LOL so edgy things that is... I don't want to use the word cringe, because I think that people who use the word cringe are cringe. But if there is one thing that is stupidly fucking cringe, more than anything else I can think of, it is looking at somebody who is showing the obvious signs that they need help, that they are a person in need, and using that to get your rocks off, to have a fucking laugh at it. When that person is right there, you are encouraging a person to hurt themselves, you could inadvertently be the person that leads to that person fucking killing themselves. I'm sorry, I do not think that is a responsible thing that you should do as a content creator. I don't think that's a responsible thing you should be doing as a human being. I think that's a disgusting thing to do as both a content creator and a human being. And yet, that seems to be what is considered the norm in Nux's community. Anselin says, don't push them over the edge. Respect that there even is an edge in the first place. Like, at the very least, do the due diligence of understanding that there is an edge. Because there are people who just won't even do that.
Rehabilitation program, and they are now working on their university degree. To clarify some things,
Again, they can praise God for that.
I reached out to Red because I saw their post on the Discord from years ago. They didn't reach out to me, no one tipped me off about them, I discovered them myself. I haven't conducted any in-depth interview with this person. I would just send them questions every now and then, and laid out this timeline and asked for their thoughts. They described it with the words, all of that is accurate to my knowledge. They don't remember anyone at the server really recommending them to seek help. When I asked about how they felt about Alan's behavior, they recognized that it was inappropriate towards a 14-year-old, but they don't believe he had any sexual grooming intention or meant what he was doing in that manner. They also mention Alan being very troubled at the time, which, based on Alan's messages, assuming he isn't lying, seems to be true. Based on the logs I've shown, it's tempting to conclude that the influences that Red was exposed to through Nux Taku's unmoderated Patreon Discord server led to them dropping out of school at age 14 and getting into SH. The timeline laid out by the messages and by Red's testimony does support the idea, but to actually determine if that's the underlying reality would require further investigation. However, regardless of the actual consequences, allowing people to encourage or praise this kind of behavior in the first place is already insane.
Agreed.
What is clear is that Red was repeatedly exposed to extremely obscene NSFW content and gore on the server, and that Nux Taku made the NSFW channel because Red requested it, and then accepted more money from them. If Nux Taku was too busy to moderate the server properly, it's not like he was totally unfamiliar with the concept of moderators. If he was, the 16th message on his Discord server was a user recommending him to designate moderators, to which Nux responded, "Indeed." One of the basic responsibilities of a Discord server operator is to make sure that children are not exposed to adult content on their server.
Correct.
By allowing Red on the server and allowing them to be exposed to all of these harmful influences, based on my estimation, Nux Taku made $46. Not only did he fail to carry out that basic responsibility, he made money from neglecting it, something which would eventually become a core element of his success. If you remember, the Chris Tyson server closed its NSFW channel in January 2019, before the server went public. Nux Taku's Patreon NSFW channel is still open in 2026. There is no age verification process, and anyone with $1 can join in. The channel hasn't had a new post since 2024, but it was still active when Nux Taku was casting judgment on Ava Tyson. It's probably good to point out that Nux Taku and Ava Tyson were both born in 1996. Tyson in July and Nux Taku in February. Nux Taku is a few months older than Tyson, but he was making demonstrably worse mistakes at the same age, and continued to make those mistakes for years afterwards. There is no evidence for Tyson ever grooming anyone on the server, but her career was still destroyed by the controversy, something which Nux Taku cheered on. And with that, I conclude the first part of our dive into Nux Taku's history.
Okay, so in conclusion, we have, just based on this, not going into any of the political stuff, we have a very, very irresponsible content creator who hosted servers in situations where minors could be exposed to things that they should not have been exposed to. CJ Sonic says first, yep, that is his part 1. This is meant to be a part 1. Looking at the comments, we have Nux Taku is a living Sonichu medallion. How the fuck is he complaining about hedonism and degeneracy when he's like the king of gooners? Yeah, and like all of those would be the criticisms that I would think are perfectly salient. Don't be this person that tries to, like, advocate for the mean between virtues when you're the person who's doing everything in their power to not actually exemplify even a goddamn one of those things.
Also, just don't get into LOLI. Don't do a contest of NSFW, especially if you know that your audience is full of children and minors.
Double Trigger says, do you have any notes for a part 2? I have some notes. My first thing would be,
basically, do not fix anything at all. But maybe, like Suris is about to say here, maybe do this, possibly. Either what Suris is about to say, or just do the same thing that you did. Because again, I think the main problems I have with Suris here is not connecting the dots and overanalyzing things. That's basically it. Nothing really nefarious or bad, or he's pro Nux Taku. He's not. He's definitely not. I just think, again, he didn't connect the dots and he overanalyzed too much.
Use actual damning evidence. A video...
The thing is, he already did, but like I said, at this at this point I disagree with that. I think there was a lot of dooming evidence, but I think dooming evidence that Source wants is something more explicit than I mean, everything else was explicit. I really don't know what he means here at the end of the day.
It does not need to be an hour and 20 minutes long if you don't have an hour and 20 minutes worth of footage that matters.
But most of that did matter. That's the thing. It did matter. You just didn't connect the dots, or you're overanalyzing too much.
The things that mattered in here. Him hosting minors in his Discord and showing them porn.
There were many other stuff, like, again, the NSFW contest, the kid sending him the video, the LOLI stuff, all those things were bad too, by the way.
That's the shit that matters.
Which most likely led to the stuff that Source thinks matters, because everything else matters. That's why this thing definitely matters, because he has a pattern of behavior that is bad.
Him accepting minors, sending him shit about sex toys. That shit matters. Not moderating an NSFW section in a Discord. That matters. That was an argument that I ended up having with moderator staff years ago. Different mod staff, when we had an older, or when their conversation about even having an NSFW section was brought up in the first place, was how do we effectively moderate it? Ideas were floated around, like looking at their like having people send their fucking IDs in and shit. Obviously, that's not what we ended up going with. We've ended up going with a vibe check now, more than anything. And even with that, I think we've only accepted maybe like 1 or 2 people in the last 5 months to go into there. Lead with that. That's your strong material. That's your material that is actually damning. Treat it like a thesis statement. When you write an essay, you have a thesis. The thesis, if the thesis statement of your video is Nux Taku is an irresponsible content creator and his actions have inadvertently hurt minors, I can agree with that. Your weakest points possible, your fluff points, the points you literally are putting in for the sole purpose of increasing the word count of your essay, were the first fucking 43 minutes of this video. The stuff about their
No, they weren't. In fact, they were the very important sentences that led to the main body of the essay.
Anime preferences and shit only matters if they are being hypocritical about those anime preferences.
They're not just anime preferences, they are preferences that are perverted. Not just perverted, they involve children and minors in sexual acts. Period. It's bad. I'm sorry, they're not just anime they're not just preferences. They're bad. Objectively.
The stuff about that only matters when they're showing that shit to the minors, which you need
which they did.
Context from the second half of the video for that to matter in the first place. If you had swapped that stuff around, there actually would be weight to that.
There was already weight. There was already weight to it. In an essay, you need to obviously connect everything together. That's what was going on in this video.
That second part of the video, because you go, hey, here's how irresponsible this person is with their minors. Here's how irresponsible they are with the content they're letting minors see. By the way, this is something that you would expect to happen given the kind of content that they do. And then you lead into that content, but you only go over that content for maybe a minute, not 43 of them. Anselin says, talk about bearing the lead, basically. Again, I am interested to hear what the next part of this is going to be. Hold on. I am interested to see what the next part of this is going to be. Because, if I'm being honest, the first part is 20 minutes of a good, meaty video and an hour of fluff.
No, it was all good. Like, what?
Expecting one of two things with a part 2. Scenario A, there's going to be another hour of fluff and then 20 minutes of something at the end.
Or, if we're talking about fluff here, actually very important stuff that leads to connecting the dots and the red flags into something even worse.
Scenario B, now that we've gotten all of the preamble to establish who Nux Taku is, now we actually can talk about stuff that matters for the entirety of the video.
Even though all of it did matter for the entirety of the video.
And I think that either way, it's going to be another hour and a half long video. I'm fine with the video being an hour and a half long. But if the entire thesis of the video is going to be, here's an expose that is going to ruin Nux Taku's career, and you begin with, by the way, he talked about hentai. By the way,
he talked about LOLI. He talked about LOLI. Not just regular old hentai, lolicon. Basically child pornography. Because that's basically what it is. It's not just hentai service. It's not just that. Like, what are we doing here? Why? Why?
He talked about hentai that I don't like. That's
not that I don't like, but should be illegal.
It's not a fucking compelling thing. Especially not for his own audience, who are familiar enough with his content.
Like, you know, the children and minors who are familiar with his content.
That's what they're watching for. They're not going to give a shit about any of that. Either
okay, and?
Way, man, this is going to be weird going up on the main channel.
And that was how to not react to the Nux Taku Nuke video. At least most of it, if not part of it. Again, like I said, Suris did not just say bad stuff. He also said a lot of good stuff that I agree with, obviously. But there's a reason why I made the video. So, I said early on in this video, this was longer, not 4-hour video like the last one with Mike Winger. So, thank and praise God for that. But the second video that I watched regarding the Nux Taku Nuke video was from Dead Domain, and I think he did a much better job and a much better reaction to the nuke, which will be the next video. So, watch out for that.
Hey, real quick, if you want to dedicate your life to Christ, aka get saved, or if you're a backslider and want to rededicate your life to Christ, or if you want the baptism of the Holy Spirit with the evidence of speaking with tongues, those prayers are in the description down below.